Jahmyr Gibbs looks doubtful. Amon-Ra St. Brown looks doubtful. However, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, at least Jameson Williams is making his NFL debut. And I never thought we would be saying this, but it looks like if you have an injured Amon-Ra, an injured Jahmyr Gibbs, Jameson Williams is a borderline top 24 wide receiver this week. It looks like you can definitely go through and start Jameson Williams now. But outside of that, I mean, we do really need to at least acknowledge the fact that he will be a very high ceiling, but a very low floor player. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. Jameson Williams could easily flame out. He may very easily do absolutely nothing this week. It really does depend on the other options that you have. We still don't have news regarding Davante Adams and Aaron Jones playing on Monday night. I'm a little bit more worried about Adams than I am Aaron Jones, but nonetheless, will be very dependent on your overall roster if you want to roll the dice on those two players for Monday. But I think we can go ahead and start diving into some questions that we have here. Our first question going to be coming out from Country Connected. Always happy to see you. My man says, start one running back and one flex between Mixon, Ramondre, and Mostert. And are we going to go George Pickens or Christian Watson? So now that Kenny Pickett is good to go, I'd be completely fine if you wanted to go through and play George Pickens. Whereas previously, if you would have asked me earlier this week, I would have said, you know what, man? I mean, an injured Kenny Pickett and Christian Watson's fully good to go. Give me Christian Watson. Now, I think it will be a lot closer between these two guys, and I think it really is up to you. Now, if you're going to be looking at my rankings when it comes to running backs, this is one other piece of news that we have that we didn't have earlier today. Ramondre Stevenson will be playing tomorrow. That is pretty big. And we're looking at where we had these guys ranked. I had Joe Mixon at 34 in our flex rankings, Mostert at 35, and then Stevenson at 43. So I think we are going to be going with Mostert and Mixon under the assumption that Jeff Wilson Jr. is not playing. And I have not seen anything that would indicate that Jeff Wilson Jr. is going to play. And if I'm wrong on that, for the love of God, help me out in the live chat and let me know so I don't make an ass out of myself in the next 12 hours. But Jack coming out says, I have JT on the IR and got to drop a running back to start Jonathan Taylor or make any trades. Do I drop Charbonnet or keep JT on the IR for now? Also, start 3, HN, Brees, JT, Kyron. We are going to be going with Kyron. You know what? I guess we can wait a week. I mean, I really would want to start Jonathan Taylor here, but with the report saying that he's going to be on the snap count, completely fine. If you want to say Mason, I can get an extra roster spot. I can kind of cheat the system if I just don't play JT this week. And instead, if we just fire up Achane, Brees, and Kyron Williams, I think it's very possible Jonathan Taylor outproduces these guys. But at the same time, they are in a similar range of outcomes, all low floor, high ceiling players. So I think we can wait a week and see what happens. Country Connected says, also I traded Godwin and Debo for Connor and Kupp. Oh, phenomenal deal here, my man. Way rather have Kupp over Debo. And Connor, Godwin, probably give me Connor. Hayden says, if Saquon's out, flex Gabe Davis or Christian Watson, 1 and 3 projected to win. If you're projected to win, I'm probably going to go with the guy with the higher floor. In my mind, that will be Christian Watson. Tillian says 12-team PPR single flex. We have Tua, Bijan, JT, Diggs, Waddle, Andrews, Brees, Judy, Addison, Warren, London, Moss, Hubbard, Johnston. Any moves I should be making as we're 1 and 3? I mean, as we're 1 and 3, we want to go through and we want to sell future production for short-term production. So maybe if you could take, say, like Jordan Addison and Brees Hall and go trade these players and get to a running back like Tony Pollard, that'd be an absolute no-brainer. Now, obviously, way easier said than done. In reality, you're probably not going to be able to pull that off. I'd be surprised if you could. We can always send the offer, see what happens. Worst case scenario, they say no. But if we can take some of that long-term rookie upside and try to parlay it into production for this week, I think that'd make a lot of sense. And then outside of that, honestly, I mean, it's a great team, right? I mean, you have a real valid explanation for why you're 1 and 3 here. We had no JT and we had Waddle injured. I think the team will be better going forward. And we dealt with an Andrews injury. The team dealt with a lot. Sean says, full BBR, we have Dak and Russ, Adams, Nico, Olave, Amari, DJ Thielen. Running backs are Barkley, Achane, Bijan, Cook, and Laporta. Any tips to improve? I mean, obviously, it's going to be very difficult to go through and make trades right now. But, I mean, long-term, if you wanted to take some of this running back depth, if you have, like, James Cook potentially as a running back 4 and parlay that with one of your quarterbacks in either Dak or Russ and go get a quarterback upgrade, I think that could make a lot of sense. Jaggy says, Dobbs or Flowers at wide receiver 2. We are going to go with Flowers even if Andrews is our tight end. Matt says, we got to sit one, JT, Kamara, Swift, or Montgomery. Montgomery's going to crush. I mean, Swift's going to crush. Really comes down to Kamara and JT. Probably going to sit JT for Kamara now, just given the report that JT will be on the snap count. Davey says, traded Kyron for Eckler straight up. Massive W. Love to see it, my man. Not even coming out saying that there's anything bad about Kyron Williams. But, I mean, just Austin Eckler is the top 3 player in fantasy football going forward. And real quick, we're going to have to refresh this to find our next question. And as I do this, please, if you have not done so already, go down there. Hit that like button on this live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. You know we're going to be live streaming every single day until 2024. We've done it every single day since April. And if you want to check out any of these pick'ems on Underdog Fantasy, or if you want to get in a draft with us during this season, you can find that link in the live chat. You can find it in the description. You can find it in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK. You're going to be getting a 100% deposit match on Underdog. Plus, you're going to be getting our updated rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, for tomorrow, you're going to be getting a Tua special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard. And if you use promo code FLOCK, it doesn't matter if you use promo code FLOCK 2 years ago, last year, yesterday, today, or tomorrow, you'll get hooked up with a Justin Herbert special pick'em coming out of the bye week next week. Super excited that we're able to hook y'all all up with that, so please make sure you take advantage. But Two Genders coming out says 14-team full BBR, 1-3, top 6 make the playoffs, so we need to win now. I have some good trades and the team is stacked. My for sure starts are Bijan, AJ. We need to sit one between Jones, Taylor, Cup, and Devonta Smith. Okay, this team is stacked in a 14-team league. If we have Taylor, Cup, understandable why we are 1-3. Now, with that being said, I think that we are going to go ahead and we are most likely going to be actually sitting Aaron Jones. I mean, we don't know if Aaron Jones for sure going to go. Even if he is, we don't know how excited we can be about him. And he plays on Monday. All those other guys are surefire studs as well. So there's no reason to roll the dice on Jones. Now, Devin says, got my flock hat. Hell yes. Happy to hear it, my man. Flock up. Thanks, my man. 12-team PBR format. Mostert or James Cook? We will go James Cook. Second question, do we go Myers, Boyd, London, or Reynolds? Ooh. We are going to go ahead. We will be taking Jacoby Myers. Myers is a lot more appealing now. If you look at the fact that this is a wide receiver that you have Jimmy Garoppolo back in. We also have Devontae Adams injured. So I think you can play Jacoby Myers here. Jacob says, should I sell Devon Achane? Obviously, it depends on what you can get. I would say in general, probably not. Now, XVis coming out saying, Nico, Ridley, or Zay for the wide receiver slot. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to play Nico Collins over Calvin Ridley and Zay Jones. Michael says, trade Breece and Jacoby for Gibbs and Debo. Full BBR format where you're just thinking long-term, possibly. I mean, at this point, you'd rather have Breece over Gibbs. You'd rather have Debo over Myers. So it really does depend on your overall construction and your personal preference. Noah says, PBR start 3, Debo, Watson, Dell, Ramondre, and London. I think we're going to go Debo. I'm going to give a bump up to Debo this week with no Elijah Mitchell. We're going to be going with Ramondre Stevenson as well. Between Watson, Dell, and Drake London, I'm going to roll the dice a bit, and I'm going to take Christian Watson. Ethan says, Nico Barkley at the flex, worried about Barkley. I mean, if it's a full BBR format and you're really worried about Saquon Barkley, sure, go ahead and take Nico Collins. I'm an idiot, so if I have Barkley in this instance, I'm playing Barkley, but I 100% agree. You should probably be at least a little worried. Superstar Zebo says, start sit Rice, Boyd, or Jerry Jeudy. We are going to be we're going to be starting Jerry Jeudy, benching Boyd, benching Rice, even with Higgins out. And Rice is a very intriguing roster spot. He's very intriguing for his long-term upside, but to go through and start him right now is pretty aggressive. Nada says 1-3, who to start at receiver in a 12-team PBR single flex format. Gabe Davis, Jeudy, Tutu, Nick Westbrook-Akeen. We have Mixon, Gus, Laporta, and Allen. One flex, we are going to go ahead. Will take, oh my gosh. It's either Gabe Davis or Jerry Jeudy. Can't start Tutu Atwell now that you have Cooper Kupp back in here. I'm probably going to go with Jerry Jeudy in a full PPR format, maybe Gabe Davis in a non-PPR. Obviously, it's a very tough matchup if you are looking at Jerry Jeudy. Chimo says bench one, Henry, HN, JT, and Saquon. If Saquon plays, we probably bench Jonathan Taylor out of this group, just knowing he's going to be on the snap count, but it's close. Duran says give Stafford and Deontay or Zay for Brees. I would 100% give Stafford into either wide receiver. I would rather trade Deontay over Zay, though. Jacob says non-BBR pick 2, Pollard, Etienne, Brees. Worried about the San Fran and Bills defense. Completely understandable. With that being said, we are going to go with Etienne and Pollard. Also, would you trade Brees for Olave straight up if these are my only 3 running backs? And kind of up to you. You can go either way on that call. Non-PBR format, I'm going to go with the running back. Full PBR league, I think we would actually probably go Olave. David says start Stroud or Love, 4-point passing touchdown. Appreciate you, Mason. Appreciate you, my man. Excited to see Jordan Love on Monday night with a fully healthy Christian Watson and hopefully Aaron Jones. But we still will go ahead and we'll still play CJ Stroud, my friend. Andrew coming out saying full PBR 12-team league. We have Allen, Hill, Kupp, Walker, Dalvin, Pitts, London, Gabe, and Gus Edwards. On the bench, we have Reed, Ronnie Rivers, Elijah Mitchell, Brock Purdy. What moves can we make to step up our depth? I mean, I'd say the first thing being is when you have Josh Allen, you're not going to need a roster a second quarterback here. So if you could take Brock Purdy and go send him for really any depth running back that you like, even if he's not like a great player, right? I go and send him for someone like Zach Charbonnet, where if the starter were to go down, all of a sudden he does make a massive difference. I think that would be interesting. But obviously, I mean, we would love to get more in return. I'm just saying like the absolute floor and more so just how we're looking to build running back depth overall. So instead, I would probably look to package together like Brock Purdy and Gus Edwards for a running back that you like slightly more. And then with that extra raw spot, pick up another running back off the waiver wire. Now, Cheap Burp says, Ridley, Collins, Watson, wide receiver 2. Watson finally up there. I am excited about Christian Watson, and that's why, like, if you look at my favorite underdog pick'ems of the week, one of my favorite underdog pick'ems right now is actually Christian Watson for more than 40.5 receiving yards. You're still going to have to go through, and you're still going to have to take Nico Collins here, my man. Course says, just traded Ayuk for Jahmyr Gibbs. Win or loss, the rest of the team is Hurts, Walker, Sanders, Spears. If this is our running back room, not going to argue with you. I mean, in terms of who the number one flex is, I think at this point you maybe go Jameson Williams. It's like Jameson Williams or Tank Dell. I mean, hell, if you have no Amon-Ra St. Brown, no Jahmyr Gibbs in this game, you probably need to go through and you probably need to take Jameson this week, no? JJ says flex, Flowers or Watson. Thanks for everything. No, appreciate you so much, my man. And here I would love to say Christian Watson. If you look at my flex rankings this week, I mean, we do have Zay Flowers considerably ahead. We have Flowers at 44. We have Watson at 54. But now you have both Baltimore guys being good to go. So I think it is kind of a coin flip and up to you. I probably do go Zay Flowers, though, until we at least get to see Watson. Mike says, full BBR, bench 1, JT Stevenson, Dobbs. Thanks. So thank you, my friend. 100% bench Dobbs here. This isn't close with, Watson being good to go. Jason says, 12-team full BBR, start 4. Waddle, Pittman, Puka, Nico, Hollywood. We are going to be going with the first 4 guys, essentially. Yeah, just go ahead and bench Hollywood Brown here, my friend. I mean, if you are looking at Hollywood, this is a wide receiver that has an okay matchup, blah, blah, blah. I mean, going up against Cincinnati. Obviously, this offense has been better than everybody expected. But still, I mean, the other guys are in great offenses with good quarterback play. And in fine matchups. I think Puka is still a must-start player even with Cooper Kupp in here. Our Matt coming out says, what's up, Mason? Just traded Eckler and Jeudy for Kupp and Pittman. Eckler to Kupp, downgrade. Jeudy to Pittman, upgrade. It's a 12-team full BBR format where we have Walker, Kamara. Also, we need to start 3 between Kupp, Wilson, Pittman, and Devonta Smith. I'm going to go Kupp, Pittman, and Devonta Smith, even with Garrett Wilson having a great matchup. To be honest with you, my man, I really, really do appreciate you. I don't know if I love the deal. I mean, I'm just assuming that Eckler is going to be good to go coming out of the bye. I think that Eckler is just going to have like an insane target share with no Mike Williams in this offense. Lucas says trade Kirk, Dameon Pierce for Watson and Javonte. Probably not now that the Texans offensive linemen are healthy again. Tyler says Khalif, Sky, Tutu, Gallup, Osborne, or DJ Chark. If I had to pick someone out of here, we will go ahead and we'll play Tutu Atwell even with Cooper Kupp in, but not excited about it at all. Peter says 10 TPBR single flex 3-1. We have Hurts, Bijan, JT, Charbonnet, Roschon, Javonte, Lamb, Watson, Addison, Jameson, Dobbs, Jameson. I feel like to trade for running back to get the top 2 Cowboys. Okay. So if you want to go through and if you want to get Tony Pollard, my man, I mean, I think that we can go for it, especially in a single flex format. What may be interesting is obviously we have a lot of long-term upside with guys like Jonathan Taylor, with Jordan Addison. But specifically, if you're in a spot where, I mean, we need points. Actually, no, we're 3-1. Never mind. Maybe we're actually looking to hold the long-term value. Yeah, no, we're going to keep this team as is. I mean, this is a 3-1 team where we're getting Jonathan Taylor added back in. I don't think we do anything. That's a phenomenal squad, my man. Hola Brown says trade away Montgomery for Ayuk. No, you definitely want Montgomery, especially now that we have the Gibbs injury. You need way more. Jim Bin coming out says pick 3 to start: Barkley, Jones, Swift, James Cook, or David Montgomery. We're going to be going with David Montgomery with no Gibbs. We're going to be going with DeAndre Swift. And then between Saquon Barkley, James Cook, kind of up to you. No reason to roll the dice on Aaron Jones Monday night here. So, I mean, if you think that Saquon will be good to go, I think a lot of it's going to have to do with the reporting that we get tomorrow morning. You can go ahead and you can play Saquon Barkley, if not DeAndre Swift. And then Dobbs, Myers, or Kupp or Ridley. Okay, so between Dobbs, Myers, we're going to go Myers. Between Kupp, Ridley, we're going to go Kupp. But honestly, I would go Kupp and Ridley over anybody else. I don't know exactly what you're asking with how that's worded, my friend. But thank you so much for everything, as always. Rudy coming out saying, happy BR Dynasty. Trade Ford, Palmer, and a low first for Eckler in a mid-second. Ford, Palmer makes no difference. We're trading a first-round pick for Eckler to second. When you say a low first, if you mean a late first, and you are a contending team, very fair, very, very fair price point to go get Austin Eckler. Gordo says trade Swift for ETN. I think that they are in a similar tier, and it is up to you rest of season. Very similar tier, and it is up to you. If you look at what we have with the underdog pick'ems, you do have, the underdog drafts right now. You have DeAndre Swift going considerably ahead of ETN. Dawes says, got offered A.J. Brown, Romeo Dobbs for my Waddle, Aaron Jones, Deontay Johnson. Deontay to Dobbs, who cares? Waddle and Aaron Jones for A.J. Brown. If this is a 2 wide receiver, 1 flex league, let's go get A.J. Brown. Let's get the best player in it. Crab Vision says, start 3, Swift, JT, Kyron, HN, Puka. We're going to be going Swift, Puka, then between JT, Kyron, and Devon HN. Probably JT and just get the guaranteed volume. I'm sorry, did I say JT? I meant Kyron. I don't know what we said. Probably Kyron for the guaranteed volume, if that makes sense. I think we can 100% lock in Jonathan Taylor as the long-term start here. But we're being told he's going to be on a snap count. Probably shouldn't start him over guys that we know are going to get like literally 100% of the work, right? At least how I'm viewing it. Now, Corey coming out says 10-team league. Okay, it's not going to change it. Just a heads up, everybody, whenever you send me anything, my baseline level assumption is it is a full PPR format unless you tell me otherwise. Unless you tell me otherwise, I assume it's a full PPR league. Now, YY says, full PPR, I need you to pick 1 receiver, 1 flex. Dobbs, Jameson, Rice. We're going to go Dobbs, Jameson. And for the flex, all those guys, Jalen Warren and Jaleel. I'll go Jalen Warren over Rashee Rice. You can go Jaleel if Javonte doesn't play. But yeah, as we were saying previously, Rashee Rice, 100% someone that we should roster for the long-term upside. I think he is trending in the right direction. You should be somewhat excited. But still, nonetheless, I don't know if we can say, oh, okay, yeah, we're ready to start him right now. I don't know if we can do that. But View Blue says 12-team PPR, 2 for the flex. Wandale, Warren, Wilson. We're going to go with Warren and Wilson. Same thing with Wandale. We can roster him. You can be excited about the long-term upside. To start him would be unreasonable, though. Mark says, PBR, I know I just asked, but I forgot to add in Cook. I'm starting Saquon, but for the other running back and flex, do we go JT, Hall, Mostert, Ayuk? Love Hall's matchup. Yeah, I don't fault you at all if you want to go Breece Hall here. Before we got the report saying Jonathan Taylor would be on a snap count, I'd probably tell you to go ahead and take JT. But now I think you can pivot over definitely if you would like. But let me refresh this. I don't know why YouTube's bugging on me right now. And of course, as I do this, hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen. This is day 162 in a row of live streaming. And if y'all want to check out any of these pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, you're going to be getting a 100% deposit match up to $500 on Underdog Fantasy. Plus, you're going to be getting our updated rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, you'll be getting a Tua special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard for tomorrow's games. And if you use promo code FLOCK on Underdog either last year, 2 years ago, yesterday, today, tomorrow, next week, we're hooking everybody up with a Justin Herbert special pick'em, more than less than half a passing yard next week. But hopefully this is all sorted out. Hopefully YouTube's going to allow me to start clicking on these chats now. There we go, YouTube. God dang. Really had to do me like that, didn't you? Now we have 2 YouTube browsers open. I haven't done this before. We're going to close out one of them and hope that nothing breaks. We're going to close out one of them and hope that we are good to go. But let me answer this. I know we're going out of order, but I don't want to have to stall any longer. Let's keep answering questions, and then I'm going to pull up on the other page the correct order of questions. Strider says, non-BBR bench 1, we have Waddle, Devonta, Puka, Breece, and Kamara. Non-BBR format, I probably bench, I don't know. I may bench Kamara. No, I can't bench Kamara. I can't bench Breece. I can't bench Puka. We may end up having to bench Waddle here as much as it pains me. As much as it pains me, I think we bench Waddle. Isaac says wide receivers were Adams, Higgins, Nico, Amari. Running backs were Stevenson, Gibbs, Zeke. Trade CD for Kyron. Did I make the right move? I understand 100%. We are better off at wide receiver than we are running back. So I understand why you decided to make this trade. In reality, I think you probably overpaid. I probably would have rather had CeeDee Lamb. Okay. But now we can swing this over to our next question. I believe coming out from Thomas, who says, PBR, Jaleel or Downs? We're going to go Jaleel, assuming Javonte misses. I'm playing the Pittman owner. That matters. It doesn't matter and project to lose by 15. Yeah, go Jaleel there if you have no Javonte. Crow says 10-team PBR, Fields, McLaurin, Barkley for Lamar, CD, Gibbs. Fields to Lamar, upgrade. McLaurin to Lamb, massive upgrade. Let's go Barkley to Lamb, lateral move. McLaurin to Gibbs, upgrade. I am fine with it. It seems like a very fair trade, and honestly, probably your personal preference here. Now, EJ says, best streamer, thank you, my man. DST, are we going to go with Tennessee? I believe they are 1.5-point dogs. Green Bay, Cincinnati, or Atlanta. We are going to go with the Cincinnati defense going up against Joshua Dobbs. Even if Dobbs has been fine, still don't know how excited you can be. Alex says 12-team PPR, 0-4, have absolutely zero depth, starting Najee, Reynolds, Michael Wilson, and Jaleel. Do we trade Adams for Kamara and Waddle? If Adams looks like he's going to miss this week and we are 0-4 and we need a win and we have no depth, I think we're losing on the deal, but that's the circumstance where it does make sense to make the trade. Sports says trade Montgomery or Henry and Dobbs for Pittman and Godwin. We need wide receiver help. No, if you're trading a Montgomery or Henry here, you're paying too much, my man, even if you need wide receiver help. Now, Difflow coming out says 1-3, 12-team at BBR standard format. We have Fields, AJ, Ridley, Kyron, Swift, Higbee, Saquon, and then on the bench, we have Watson, Godwin, Achane, Warren, Charbonnet. Was looking to trade Ridley and Achane for Jamar or Amon-Ra. Too many running backs. I don't think you trade for Amon-Ra St. Brown with the uncertainty of his injury on a 1-3 roster, but if you could send Ridley and Achane for Jamar Chase, would make a lot of sense with this kind of running back depth. Failed Failure says traded Saquon and Brian Robinson for Etienne and Miles Sanders. Brian Robinson to Sanders, up to you. Saquon to Etienne. Honestly, I'd probably rather have Saquon unless this ankle injury is like really, really bad. Julian says sit one, Chase, Kupp, Puka, and Ayuk. I'm going to sit Ayuk, but I'm an idiot. Jake says trade Higgins, Pierce, Jameson for Hall and Amari. So Pierce to Hall, upgrade even with the Texans offensive line coming back. Higgins to Amari, slight downgrade. We are paying Jameson to get it done. I think it's a very fair deal, and it's up to your overall team and personal preference. Nathaniel says Wall or Laporta. We're going to go Laporta over Waller. And then Burrow or Lawrence. We're going to go Lawrence until we see Burrow be better. Right now, they're second to last in total points scored. Zay, Kirk, or Dell. We will go with Kirk, even if you have Zay Jones back, because in the Baltimore offense, you have both Bateman and Odell back. Caleb says Kamara, Kyron, Brees, Jacobs. We got to pick 3. We're going to be going with Jacobs, Kyron, and Kamara and benching Brees, even in a great matchup where he looks like he'll crush. Jimmy says full BBR offered James Cook for Waddle for the flex spot. I mean, you'll probably get it done. They'll probably accept. I really like buying Waddle. And more so it's just like, okay, well, what does our running back depth look like? How important is having the extra starting wide receiver in this kind of league? Now, Adrian says, happy BR considering matchups. This week, we're going to go Mixon or Achane. I mean, if you look at the underdog pick'ems right now, they would tell you to go ahead and take Joe Mixon. I personally am going to go Devon Achane just as a running back that should be in a much better offense. Low Rise coming out says 12-team BBR Dynasty double flex, 3-1. We got an offer for Lamb and Kincaid. We're receiving AJ Brown. Oh, no. We're downgrading a wide receiver and tight end here. Even if we're 3-1, even if we look to win right now, do not do this. I think Lamb to AJ Brown. Dynasty, it's easily Lamb. The rest of redraft season, it's not even that far off. Roster is Lawrence, Olave, Ridley, Watson, Dell, Bijan, Achane, Brian Robinson, Andrews, Kincaid. Do we take the deal? No. I mean, even if we have Andrews, don't take this deal, my man. You're just losing too much long-term value. That's the deal that you kick yourself in the offseason that you made. Now, Connor coming out says 12-team half PPR. 2 receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex. We have Fields, Lamb, DJ, Etienne, Ramadre, Sanders, Kelsey, Watson, Palmer, Deontay. 2-2, looking like 3-2 from Fields, DJ. Any moves that we should look to make? Phenomenal team. Really do like it. All I would say is if we could see if we can throw like a depth wide receiver like Deontay Johnson in with Justin Fields and get to a top 3 quarterback such as Allen, Mahomes, or Hurts, that would be an absolute no-brainer. But, I mean, great team as is. Max says, 12-team full BBR, Richardson, Kupp, Waddle, Montgomery, Kyron, Andrews, Puka, Taylor. Start or bench JT. We have to play Montgomery. You have to play Kyron. I think that here in a full BBR format, we are going to bench Jonathan Taylor this week. I mean, the majority of instances, I imagine that I'm going to be telling people to play Jonathan Taylor. But with that being said, I mean, obviously, if you have an absolute loaded team, it's going to be harder for me to go through and say that. Now, Texans Gaming says trade Jamar for Waddle and Christian Kirk. Okay. I am easily going to take Jamar Chase here, even as someone that really likes Jalen Waddle. The Game Maker says flex Reynolds, Michael Wilson. Appreciate you, my man. We will go Josh Reynolds if Amon-Ra St. Brown does not play. Anthony says Mason need to start 3 receivers at PBR. Waddle, Debo, Michael Wilson, Jameson, Myers, or Tyler Boyd. We're going to go Waddle, Debo's absolute no-brainers. And then between the other guys, if we know Devontae Adams is not going to play, I think we go Jacoby Myers. If we don't know that and it looks like Adams will play and we have no Amon-Ra St. Brown, then I maybe go Jameson Williams. Brandon says Judy, Dell, or Josh Reynolds. We are going to go with Jerry Judy, even if you have no St. Brown. And I'm not worried about St. Brown in terms of like 2 months from now, like for the fantasy football playoffs. But I mean, the injury we have with St. Brown's very much unknown. Like he could miss a couple weeks. I don't know. Bull says Jalen Warren or snap count JT. JT's better, and Jalen Warren's on a snap count too. He's a committee running back. So definitely JT there, my man. Hayden says, do you prefer the under or over on the DeAndre Hopkins 53.5 total yards? Thank you. No, thank you, my man. And yeah, this is an important question because if you are on Underdog Fantasy and you see the pick'ems that you have at the very top there, the reason that Hopkins is going to be up there next to the free Tua pick'em more than less than half a total yard is if you include that DeAndre Hopkins pick'em in your pick'em slip this weekend, you're going to get entered in to win not 100,000. Underdog's giving away 100,000. You're going to be entered in to win $10,000, giving away 10,000 to 10 separate people. They've done this every Sunday of the year. We've had a ton of members of the flock actually win that, which is really cool. But here, if we're looking at the 53 in-app receiving yards, does seem like a lower number just considering the matchup and the fact that you have no Treylon Burks. The usage is going in the opposite direction. I'm going to be very honest with you. I have no freaking idea, my man. I don't know. I think it's a really good pick'em line, and I don't know what side I would take. D says 4-0 PBR, 1 wide receiver, 1 flex. Sold Mostert for Hollywood. I'm definitely sold too low, my man. Unless I'm mistaken, and please let me know in the live chat if Jeff Wilson Jr. is like back this week and this coaching staff said that he's going to have some massive workload. I would rather have Raheem Mostert over Hollywood. Jamil says 12-team PBR starters locked in are Stroud, Jacobs, James Cook, Hill, Ferguson. Pick 2 guys for my wide receiver 2 and flex out of Waddle, Nico, Ayuk, and Brees. Flock up. Appreciate you, my man. Full BBR format. Probably going to opt to go with the wide receivers here. Probably going to go Nico and Jalen Waddle. If it was a non-PBR league, I definitely think you can go Brees Hall over Waddle. And honestly, you can go Brees Hall over Waddle if you want to anyway. It's close. Just definitely make sure that we are going through and playing Nico Collins based off the volume that we've had. Now, our next question coming out from Justin says, need 2 running backs, 2 receivers, and a flex in a full PBR league. We have Mostert, Bijan, Pollard, Puka, Waddle, Achane, Watson, Hopkins, Atwell, Madison. Thanks, Mason. No, thank you, my man. 2 running backs will be Bijan, Pollard. 2 wide receivers will be Waddle, Puka. And then for that flex spot, we are going to go ahead. We will play Devon Achane. And yeah, I just, for the love of God, I'm going to actually scroll down in the live chat right now. Even if we're not going to be able to pull up some of these other questions. Can y'all let me know in the chat, have we had any news regarding Jeff Wilson Jr.? Please let me know in the live chat right now. Have we had any news regarding Jeff Wilson Jr.? I do not see anybody saying anything. Okay, this is what I thought. Yeah. This is what I thought. That's why we did rank both Devon Achane as well as Raheem Mostert as running backs we want to be starting. Okay, just making sure I didn't miss anything. Thank you, guys. Yoshi says we'll be 3-2, 12-team keeper, double flex. Fields, Jacobs, Etienne, DJ, Thielen, Kelsey, Nico, Dobbs. And then on the bench, we have Evans, Love, Bigsby, Hill, Henry, Zay, Reynolds, Jeff Wilson, and Elijah Mitchell. Any trades? Last place is Eckler and Kupp. Oh, that's definitely where we're wanting to attack, my man. I mean, here, if we're looking at this team, we do have a little bit of wide receiver depth. Keep in mind, double flex, 12-team league, depth's going to matter a little bit more. If we could go through and if we could send like, say, Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs or Mike Evans and Travis Etienne or DJ Moore and Jordan Love and go get to Eckler Kupp, like any combination of one of those guys on our bench with like a wide receiver or running back 2 from our starting lineup, I think that would make a lot of sense. But that's a great team, my friend. Great team. Ethan says down 50 and need big upside. Brutal. Tua or Anthony Richardson? If it's a 4-point passing touchdown format, I may say Anthony Richardson if we're just going straight upside. Let's go Richardson. 6-point passing touchdown league, you go Tua. And then pick 3, James Cook, Barkley, Achane, Hall, and Gibbs. Gibbs probably going to miss. Also, thoughts on Tua, Achane, Goddard for Bijan and Evan Ingram. Definitely want Bijan and Evan Ingram. I mean, we paid Tua to get the massive upgrade at running back and an upgrade at tight ends. Yeah, so definitely don't make that deal if we can. That's a no-brainer if we can get Bijan and Ingram. But assuming that we don't make that deal and we are just shooting for straight upside, we go Barkley, Achane, and Hall. If we're just shooting for straight upside here. Jaron says, yo, how's the day go? And any best ball tonight or tomorrow? Also, what two to start this week? Odell, Wandale, or Drake London? Appreciate you, my man. Gonna get in a ton of underdog drafts early next week. I was really wanting to do them tonight, but we are too backed up on questions where I can't have my attention divided anywhere else. And with these two guys, definitely have to play Drake London. And honestly, probably gonna go London and Wandale Robinson. I don't know. I did draft way more Wandale in those underdog best ball drafts this year. Like I have a lot more invested in a Wandale than Odell. So maybe I'm a little bit biased here. I just don't know if we're excited to start Odell Beckham Jr. Okay. So now our next question coming out from Luke says, sitting at 1-3 and don't know what to do with the team. We have Watson, Puka, DJ Kirk, Wilson, Dell, Johnston, Bijan, Swift, Kyron, Robinson, Andrews, and Hurts. So 1-3, we are looking to get production in here right now. I mean, not looking for that long-term upside. It's a phenomenal team, though. I just say we have a ton of depth overall. Like, if we could go through and take Brian Robinson and Garrett Wilson and go get an elite-level wide receiver, Brian Robinson and Christian Watson, or Brian Robinson and Christian Kirk, and go get an elite-level wide receiver, we're going to look to do that because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 playable players, 9 startable players on this team, you know. I mean, let's go through and let's make a 2-for-1 deal and get an upgrade in the lineup for today. JP says, should we start Cousins or Lamar tomorrow? We're going to go Lamar over Cousins, my friend. Anthony says, 2-2, 12-team at PBR league where we have Burrow, Hill, Cup, Damian, JT, Higbee, Kyron, Stevenson, Charbonnet, Watson, Judy. Any recommendations? Obviously, it'll be difficult to make a trade right now, but if we could possibly take like a depth wide receiver and Tyler Higbee and go get to like TJ Hawkinson before we actually see the Higbee fall off whenever you have Cooper Kupp back in this offense, I think that would be something I'm interested in. Just personally, I'm expecting that the volume does go down for Higbee considerably. Now, Max says 10-team PBR, Zay Warren for Cousins Javonte. We have Dobbs and Lawrence. If you just know, if you make this deal, I think you can definitely make this trade, but you have to cut Josh Dobbs. You can't be rostering 3 quarterbacks. So you can make it and then just immediately go cut. Jack says, trade the Niners defense, Zach Charbonnet in tank for Tutu in the Cowboys defense. Trying to get rid of people so JT can come off the IR. So Niners, Cowboys defense, tomato, Charbonnet in tank for Tutu. I'd rather have Charbonnet over Tutu. So no, I'm not doing this. To be honest with you, I'm sitting on our hands. I would just, honestly, if we have to cut someone, I just cut Tutu Atwell with Cooper Kupp being back. Mateo says, got Jefferson, Nico for Ramondre Diggs, Najee. Oh my gosh, great deal. Najee, Nico, who cares? Jefferson definitely over Ramondre. I really like it. Really like it. Albert says, need a wide receiver. We have Bijan, Walker, Kyron, Sanders, Akers, Roshan, Tyreek, Devonta Smith. 12-team PBR. Who do we trade in for what? You don't need a receiver, my man. Unless this is a 3-wide receiver league, you're chilling as is. I mean, if you could get someone to give you like an Amon-Ra St. Brown player for, say, Kyron Williams, then sure. You're in the position of power, though, honestly. Now, Ollie says, what are your thoughts traded Sanders and Judy for Pierce? If it is a shallow format, completely fine with this. Damian Pierce looks like he should be in a good spot. Strider says non-BBR bench 1, Waddle, Smith, Puka, Brees, and Kamara. Probably end up having a bench Waddle. Actually, no, we already answered this one. We answered that one for Strider. And we answered that one for Isaac. That's when we had to get out of order there. Yeah, so please, just in case you forgot what I said, bench Waddle. Andy says, what 2 running backs could we get for Pollard? I need depth. If we could go get, like, say, Kenneth Walker and Joe Mixon, Kenneth Walker, Alvin Kamara, go get, like, 2 of those players, Travis Etienne and DeAndre Swift, then sure. But, I mean, Tony Pollard's an elite level asset in my mind. Like, somebody needs to be giving you a ton for Pollard. Now, Chief Perp coming out. Always happy to see, my man says, start 2 running backs and 2 flex. Jacobs, Kyron, Montgomery, Swift, Barkley, Etienne, Ridley, Watson. Great team. We're going to start Montgomery, Swift, and then Jacobs, Etienne. Montgomery, Swift, Jacobs, Etienne. We maybe bench Kyron here just with the tough matchup. EJ says, okay, we are also answer this one for EJ. How many of these did we answer? We are going to be playing the Cincinnati defense. They are going up against Arizona. Joshua says, full PPR starter, running back and a wide receiver, then pick a flex. Between Barkley, Kyron, Gibbs, Jaleel, Nico, Tank, Dobbs, and Zay. Running back, we're going to be going Kyron Williams with the guaranteed workload. Wide receiver, we're going to go Nico Collins. And then for the flex, we're going to go Saquon Barkley if Saquon Barkley plays. And if not, we'll probably be pivoting over to Dobbs because, I mean, Gibbs is going to miss this week as well. Now, Coochie Man says, my pick'em thoughts. Collins over 58.5. I like it. Bijan over 3.5 receptions. I like it. Olave over 4.5. Kind of like that. Reynolds over 43.5. Chase over 80.5. So the issue is if you are looking at what we have when it comes to underdog pick'ems, if you are going through and going more than, you're probably being played, you know, my man. Like typically what I'm looking to do, I think all these make a lot of sense on Underdog, but you'll see the ones that I've highlighted on Underdog and generally the ones that I'm attacking. I try to go with the lower rather than the higher because they are juiced a bit to the higher and just because everybody automatically takes that side initially, you know. So that's my raw thoughts. And also a lot of these are going to be obviously accurately priced, which is why we use them a lot in our start sit decisions. Dano says 12-team at BBR format. Starting is Allen, Jefferson, Puka, Jacobs, Achane, Kmet, Moore. Then we have Kupp, Brees, Hollywood, Watson, White. What trade should we make? We're 3-1. A ton of depth here. I mean, I think we can afford to get an elite level tight end. If you wanted to send like Brees, especially if he's coming off a super strong week, and go send him with Kmet and see if we can get an elite level tight ends. I think that make a lot of sense whenever we're sitting with Kupp, Brees, Hollywood, Watson, and White on the bench. And it's a single flex league. And whenever we have Cole Kmet at tight end, we can afford to pay up. Now, Cabanos coming out and says, thank you for everything that you do. No, thank you, my man. I need to drop one to activate Jonathan Taylor. It's a 12-team full PPR format where we have Zay, Ertz, Pickens, Moss. Any suggestions? I think we are most likely to drop Zay Jones. I mean, with Zay Jones, I think he can come in and he can be a wide receiver that's actually pretty good, like underdog basketball drafts, right? Where he can have some random spike weeks. But I don't know if Zay's going to turn into like a wide receiver that we're consistently starting every single week. I think more so he's just going to be in the thorn in the side of someone like Christian Watson. So I probably go through and I drop Zay Jones there, my man. But thank you so much for being a member of the flock. Now, Coach Will says 8-team PPR stacked team. We have Lamar, CMC, Kyron, Diggs, Lamb, Andrews, Waddle, Brees, Higgins, Ridley. Do I get Allen for Lamar and Kyron or keep as is? So I'd say in a 12-team format, there's no way you would do this deal, and you would way rather have Lamar and Kyron. However, if you're going to be looking at what we have in an 8-team format where we are this loaded, I'm fine if you wanted to go out there and overpay for Josh Allen like this. Specifically just because this format, my friend. But we're actually going to have to refresh this so we can keep bringing these up. And as I refresh this, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going back to Harrison. Harrison is next. I want to remind you, if you have not done so already, go down there, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. We're going to be live streaming every single day until 2024. And if you want to check out any of these pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, you're going to be getting a 100% deposit match up to $500 on Underdog. Plus, you're going to be getting our updated rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. And if you're new to Underdog, you're going to be getting a Tua special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard for this weekend. And it doesn't matter if you are new to Underdog. It doesn't matter if you've been on Underdog for a while now. Regardless, as long as you used promo code FLOCK or you use promo code FLOCK, next week, everybody who used code FLOCK is also going to get hooked up with a Justin Herbert special pick of more than less than half a total yard. Super happy that I'm able to get you all that, so please make sure you take advantage. Now, Harrison says 12-team map PPR. Do we start Reynolds over Collins? Nope. Wilson? Nope. Or Puka? Nope. With a modern route, feels really tempting. I understand, yeah, and I definitely think that Josh Reynolds can be a viable play, just not over these guys that are really exciting. AJ says start 2, Hall, Mostert, Watson, Kirk, Dell. We're going to be going with Breece Hall and Raheem Mostert. Now that Jeff Wilson Jr. is not going to be someone we have to worry about, at least for this week. Now, Not Quaney says start 3, 2 running backs and a flex. Achane, JT, Kamara, Etienne, Christian Watson, Dell. We're going to go 3 running backs. We're going to go Achane, Kamara, and Etienne. Long term, we probably are going to be starting JT over Kamara, just not this week with him on a snap count. Akili the Great, always happy to see you, my man, says, for the flex, 12-team 1 and 3, we have Lamar, Achane, Barkley, Kamara, JT, Diggs, Ridley, Kirk, Palmer, Sky, Brian Robinson. I mean, if you could trade for Kelsey, it would make a lot of sense now that we're getting Jonathan Taylor back in. Like, if you could take, say, Alvin Kamara, Christian Kirk, and Jake Ferguson to get to Kelsey, that would be a move that we're really going to make. But in reality, I think it's going to be a very strong team. I know we're 1 and 3, which is a little frustrating, but we had no JT, right? It's going to be better going forward. Garrett says 4-0, 10-team league. We have Fields, Bijan, Connor, Ramondre, Chase, Devonta Smith, Flowers, Thielen, Godwin, Dobbs, Warren, Stroud, Ertz, Higbee. Should we trade away Chase? Hell no, my man. You're in a great spot if you are looking at Jamar Chase. He is going to get better as the season goes on. He's going to get better as Joe Burrow gets healthier. Yeah, so I definitely think you ought to be holding on to Jamar Chase here. Not going to be thinking about that one too much at all, to be honest with you. Especially on a 4-0 roster, we're thinking for long-term upside. Troy coming out says, hope you're having a good night, man. Couple props. HN over 50.5 and James Conner over 60.5 are those total smash plays. Total yards, I would really like them. Total yards, I would like them. Let me see. Is this a rushing yardage? Pick him on Underdog, or is this a total yardage? HN 50.5, just rushing yards can be a little bit tougher because, I mean, if you look at the volume, he's only had like 20-something carries over the past 2 weeks. So you are projecting out some insane efficiency there. And in the case of what we have with James Conner, yeah, it's 60.5 rushing yards. To be honest with you, my man, I think that those are probably stayaways for me. If they were total yards, I'd be all in. If you were looking at a Miami running back pick'em that I like, I actually wouldn't mind the Raheem Mostert for more than 8.5 fantasy points. I think I would like that one a little bit more. Okay. Now, Justin says H.N. Myers for Hurts, Dotson to upgrade Burrow. Myers, Dotson, who cares? H.N. or Hurts, give me Hurts even if Burrow's getting healthier. Margaret says 12-team PPR format, 2 receivers and a flex. We have Allen, Stroud, A.J. Brown, Olave, Puka, Gabe, Dell, Bijan, JT, Hall, Pierce, Kincaid, Musgrave. Any recommendations? We traded Kyron, Lockett, Deontay for A.J. Brown and Dameon Pierce. Great trade there. I mean, obviously it'd be nice if we had a viable tight ends that we could rely upon. I would just say, like, if you could somehow trade, like, say, C.J. Stroud and Dalton Kincaid or C.J. Stroud and Luke Musgrave and go get to a tight end like Evan Ingram, I think that'd make a lot of sense. Just when we have Josh Allen, we're starting him every single week regardless. Great team at quarterback and running back. And a wide receiver. Michael says, hey, Mason, hope all's well. I need help with the ugly quarterback situation. Dobbs or Purdy this week? Appreciate you, my man. I mean, obviously, Purdy does have a tough matchup. Dobbs has some rushing upside as well. But yeah, let's probably go ahead and let's still take Purdy. I mean, Purdy has just been so efficient this year. I'm really excited to see this Cowboys 49ers game. I am. K3 says traded McLaurin, Sutton, Ford, Pierce for Swift and ETN. What do you think? Oh, great deal. 100%. Like, we traded 4 quarters for $2 bills. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, here are 4 quarters. Just give me these 2 separate $1 bills. But you're winning the deal because you're getting 4 and I'm only getting 2. Like, of course, we smashed on that one, my man. Andres says, full BBR start 3, Chase, Cup, Puka, and Nico. We're going to be going Chase, Cup, and Puka. We're going to go with the first 3. Sports says, looking to trade Derrick Henry for a receiver. Who should we be targeting? If you wanted to send Derrick Henry, if you can get to like CD Lamb in a full BBR format, about that range is where I'd be looking at. If you go back to the underdog drafts that we were doing last night on the live stream, pretty much any of the wide receivers that were going inside the top 15 picks. Gabe says 10-team PBR. We have Herbert, Pollard, Gibbs, Pittman, Ayuk, Kittle, Lave. On the bench, we have Wilson, Thomas, Rasheed, Rivers, Deontay, Matthew Stafford. Any thoughts? Very well balanced format. I don't really see too many trades that make a lot of sense for us to go out there and make. Yeah, very well balanced team. I mean, obviously, it would be nice to have a little more running back depth. Maybe that's the one thing we would say is like roster 1 fewer wide receiver and 1 more running back if we can. But in terms of trades, I think we're chilling here. Colby says, start 2, have BBR. We have Zay, Rice, Atwell, Wandale. Probably going to go Atwell. And if you wanted to go Rice here, this is the range where you can go Rice. Chris says, full BBR, would you trade Waddle for James Cook? A very fair deal and very dependent on your team, my friend. But we are going to turn off super chats just for 1 second so I can catch up on all these questions and not make anybody wait for too long. Okay. And I think we may have accidentally missed Christian's questions. So let me go ahead and get to this. Actually, no, we did not. Never mind. I apologize about that confusion. Yeah, but Waddle to James Cook is the ultimate. It's whatever you want, right? Like, there's not going to be a big difference there. Stealthy says, Amon-Ra St. Brown could be out till week 10 or so. Obviously, just rumors right now, but if I sell, what can we look for him before my buddies know he could be out? Sports hernia or broken rib is what people are saying. If you wanted to send Amon-Ra St. Brown and try to get to like CD Lamb, that would be interesting. And if we need, or say to Devontae Adams, and you can kind of disguise it by adding a piece, going, yeah, I'll give you Amon-Ra St. Brown and Chris Godwin for Devontae Adams, you know. NMG says, could I start Pierce or Jonathan Taylor? And for the flex, should we go Hollywood, Thomas, Hopkins, Judy, or Jameson? Probably Hollywood there at wide receiver, and then we will go Jonathan Taylor over Damian Pierce, even though Pierce is trending in the right direction. Williams says 10-team PBR. Richardson for Burrow and Addison. We have Hurts as the starter. Puka for Ridley before Cup returns. Gonna be up to you. I mean, I think you probably keep Puka. And then in a 10-team league, I don't know how much of a difference Addison makes. So honestly, I like the idea because we have Hurts. I think we just want a little bit more. Zeke Coney says, for the flex full BBR, already started Fields and DJ, so we don't need a home run. Nico, despite not a great matchup, but we're definitely going to go with Nico Collins here, my man. Especially if we just need like the guaranteed target volume. He's getting guaranteed targets. JB says, hey man, would you flex Taylor or risk playing Aaron Jones Monday night? Appreciate it. Appreciate you. And we will go ahead and we will flex Jonathan Taylor. As the thing is, even if Aaron Jones plays, he could also be on a snap count. Andres says, full BBR start 3, Chase, Cup, Puka, Collins. We just answered this. I believe we're going to be going with the first 3. Amon coming out says 10-team league. We have Allen, Kelsey, Lamb, Pittman, McLaurin, Gabe, Hopkins, and then at running back, we have Brees, Walker, Swift, Mostert. Any recommendations? Great team. I mean, really strong team. If we could go through, if we could sell, say, I mean, two wide receivers like DeAndre Hopkins and Michael Pittman to go get a better wide receiver too, then sure, let's do it. But elite squad. Hoops Supply says 12-team happy BR format, single flex. We have Brees, Cook, Montgomery, Chase, Waddle. AJ Brown got us at one of them. Who do we start? Thanks, Place. I appreciate you, my man. Montgomery must start. Chase must start. AJ Brown must start. Our other running back, we're most likely going to be playing James Cook. And then between Brees Hall and Jalen Waddle, really it is up to you. I personally probably go ahead and chase Waddle for the ceiling and Hall for the floor, depending on what you're looking for. Now, Wax Law says, at BBR standard 12-team league, trade Brees and Godwin for ETN. We have AJ, Addison, Puka, Palmer, and Quentin. I would rather go like Brees and Palmer to ETN. I think Godwin maybe is a little bit too aggressive based off the great reports that we've been getting about Brees Hall. I mean, what I've seen with trades in the live stream. Now, Tyler says, Tank stacked with Stroud or Myers. We're definitely going to go Myers, especially with the banged up Adams. Yasha says 12-team BBR. We have Achane, White, Hall at running back. Good offer. Taylor, Pitts for Andrews. Do we do this? 100% go take Jonathan Taylor. Let's do it. Like, Jonathan Taylor is equivalent to like a round one player at this point in terms of value. Christian, I searched for your question. Your donation never popped up, my friend. Like we hit Control F and typed out your entire name. I'm very sorry. We never got anything, my friend. TK says, Jaleel Moss Warren must start one in a 10-team league. We'll go Jaleel if Javonte does not play, and if he does, we will go with Warren. Joel says we have Herbert, Stroud, Pollard, Connor, Jones, Brown, Ridley, Allen, Rice, Williams, Moore, Johnson, Taji, Zach Ertz, and he moves. Nothing for right now. Obviously, it's going to be very difficult to make a trade before kickoff tomorrow. What I will say is long-term, like if, say, CJ Stroud has another top performance this week and his value continues to rise, then once we get Justin Herbert back from the bye, would be interesting to see if we can go through and sell Stroud then. Gender says, I messaged earlier. Yes, I remember the stacked 14-team league. 2 receivers, 1 flex. I'm sorry, my friend. I thought we went through and looked at this already for you. I don't know exactly what we are being asked here. But Fields, Bijan, Taylor, Aaron Jones, Kupp, Smith, AJ, Waller, any moves? I mean, I think as you stand right now, there are no moves to make. It's a 14-team league where we're bringing Taylor and Kupp back in. I mean, really the only thing you could do is take like a wide receiver 5, wide receiver 6 in this team, package them with Justin Fields to go get Allen, Mahomes, or Hurts. I'm super sorry, my friend. I wish I had more for you. This is a phenomenal team. I understand how it was a 1-3 team if it was a 14-team format and we had no Taylor, no Cooper Kupp. It's going to be much, much better going forward. And yeah, specifically that Jalen Hurts deal, like we can take like a wide receiver that's on our bench right now. Maybe if we have like Hollywood Brown in this team too, send him with Fields and go get Jalen Hurts to stack with AJ Brown and Devonta Smith. I think that'd be great, but honestly, you don't really need to do anything. You're in a really good spot. But Gilbert, happy to see you, my man. Hope that you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. And Gabriel, welcome to being a member of the flock. Happy to have you. Happy to have you. Now, our next question coming out from Elijah says, 10-team BBR single flex. We have Tua, Bijan, Kyron, Diggs, Olave, Watson, Ferguson. And then on the bench, we have Najee, Tutu, Evans, Michael Wilson, Zach Moss, and Josh Dobbs. What are your thoughts? I think it's a fine team. I mean, obviously it does suck losing out on Zach Moss. I mean, I don't necessarily think that we're going to be making any moves. The main thing is we really just want to see if we are going to be getting something from Christian Watson, right? Like a lot hinges on Watson, at least for this week. Once we get Evans back, I mean, we should be in a fine spot. Ben says, 10-team BBR format, just traded Laporta, Rashad, and Kirk for ETN. 10-team league, it's okay. We have Hawkinson. Our starting receivers are Diggs, Keenan, Kupp. Yeah, so we have an elite level team. This is why I said it was okay. If it was a 14-team format, you would have gotten screwed. 14-team league, you would have paid way too much depth, way too much value to get that single upgrade. Specifically, when you're in a 10-team format and everybody's freaking loaded like you are, sometimes you have to go out there and you have to overpay for an upgrade in the starting lineup. Thomas says, PBR, you suggested Jaleel over Downs. In that case, should we start Jaleel at running back over Aaron Jones and flex Downs, or go Jones? We would go Jones, but please put Jones in at the flex anyway, just in case something happens and we have more pivoting options on Monday night. Jared, happy to see my man, says, send Kelsey, Pittman, Sanders for Adams, Brees, Laporta. Trade been going back and forth all week. Kelsey to Adams, lateral move up to you. Pittman to Hall, probably lateral move up to you. Sanders, Laporta, maybe give me Laporta. I hate to say this, but it's the honest answer. I mean, I could lie to you and go, oh man, it's easily the Kelsey side, or it's easily the Davante Adams side. In reality, I think it is very close. I think it is kind of up to your personal preference. Can everybody in the live chat let me know, what direction would you be going in here? Please spam the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Help Jared out. He is out here every single night with us. Would you rather have Kelsey, Pittman, Sanders? Or would you rather have Adams, Brees, Laporta? Please let us know in the live chat. Okay. Adams, Kelsey, Adams, Kelsey, Adams, Kelsey. Looks like there may be slightly more people that are saying the Davante Adams side. I have no idea. I do think it's up to you. But Austin, welcome to being a member of the flock. Happy to have you, my friend. Happy to have you. Now, our next question coming out from Dion says, I have a trade offer, CMC for Devonta Smith, Devon Achane, and TJ Hawkinson. Give me CMC. My team is Lamar, Diggs. Yeah, especially with a great team like this when we're getting JT back in. Give me Christian McCaffrey. You're paying a lot, but it's hard to overpay for CMC. Just Sherman says trade Charbonnet for Jaleel or Pickens for Warren if we need a running back. I'd be fine with either deal. I mean, probably Charbonnet for Jaleel if you need someone to start this week. Keep Charbonnet if you need a long-term running back with upside. Jack says, a full BBR 10-team 2-2. We have Stroud, Burrow, Jacobs, Kyron, JT, Achane, Pacheco, Hunt, Jamar, DK, Pickens, London, Bourne, Hawkinson. Who should we be starting this week in a double flex format? We're going to go Stroud over Burrow. We're going to be going with Achane, Kyron at running back. Wide receiver, we're going to be going with Jamar and Pickens. And then for the flexes, we are going to be going with Jacobs and Jonathan Taylor. So play the first four running backs and then play Jamar and Pickens at wide receiver. And Mig says, happy BR, pick 3 to start. Sutton, Adams, Zay, Michael Wilson, P. Ryan, Hill, Breida. Adams is questionable and not many options on Monday. Assuming this is Taysom Hill. We're going to go Matt Breida if Saquon Barkley does not play. We're going to go Michael Wilson. Actually, no, I'm going to go Cortland Sutton over Michael Wilson, even despite the matchup. So we're going to go Sutton, Matt Breida if you have no Saquon Barkley. If Saquon Barkley does play, then you pivot to Michael Wilson. And then we roll the dice with Davante Adams regardless. Matt says, Ridley or Saquon in the flex. Nervous that Saquon sits. Ridley is in London. Seems like weird timing. It really depends on your backup option. I would rather have Saquon if he were to play. I mean, obviously, it's a really nuanced. Depends on who your backup guy is and at the same time, the information we get tomorrow morning. Mudmaster says trade Jefferson, Jameson, Herbert for Kupp, Eckler, Smith. Jefferson to Eckler, downgrade. Jameson to Kupp, massive upgrade. Herbert to Smith, massive upgrade. Oh, yeah, that initial JT deal was great. This one, honestly, it's a very fair trade, and it is up to you. I think you can make I would probably go with the Eckler side. Very rarely do I ever want to tell someone to trade away Jefferson, but there I think you can. Skylar says $100, 3-1. Cousins, Etienne, Swift, Hill, Kupp, Ferguson, Connor. And then on the bench, we have Taylor, Waller, Hollywood, Burrow. Allen, should we start? JT, Burrow, Darren Waller. I'm going to be going with Kirk Cousins over Burrow, even if he looks like he is healthy. I will play Jonathan Taylor here over James Conner. And then Darren Waller, Jake Ferguson. You probably go Jake Ferguson. I think we have them ranked back-to-back in our rankings this week, though. So really up to you. Skyward says 10-team at BBR single flex. We have Hurts, Swift, Bijan, Brown, Puka, Hawkinson, Moore. And then on the bench, we have Khalil, Amari, Zay, JSN. Who do we sell between Amari, Moore, and who's your target? I'm 3-1 with too much depth. Okay. The thing is, you're not going to get anything for Amari, whereas if you sell DJ Moore, you would get a ton. If you could send, say, like DJ Moore and Zay Flowers and go get a wide receiver in the CeeDee Lamb range, I think that is something that I would look to do. You can try to sell Amari. I just don't know if anybody's going to be excited to buy Amari. Ernest says start 2 out of 4, London, Downs, Jameson, and Reynolds. We're going to be going with London and Jameson. Augustin says full BBR, Pierce or Dell at the flex. We're going to be going Pierce. Eckler for CMC and Andrews. What? Oh, Kelsey and Eckler for CMC and Andrews. Very, very fair deal and honestly up to you. I was like, oh my gosh, my man, you're trading Eckler for CMC. And what are we doing there? But yeah, I think honestly that Kelsey Eckler for CMC Andrews is, I think CMC is a tier ahead of Eckler. I think Kelsey's a tier ahead of Andrews. I think it's a very fair one. Young Gun Media, long time member of the flock. Thank you for joining my man. Now we got Los Mendingo says, Boyd or Reynolds? We're going to be going with Reynolds with no Amon-Ra St. Brown. Robert says 10-team, full BBR 3-1. We have Lawrence, Jacobs, Barkley, Kupp, Ridley, Hawkinson, Cook. Should I trade Amari and Puka for Lamb and Stafford? Single flex format, I probably would. Y'all know we've been saying to sell Puka for the past 2 weeks in preparation of Cooper Kupp coming back in. Seems like this is a very reasonable price to get. If this was like a 12-team league with multiple flex spots, maybe not. Specifically in a 10-team league with one flex, I think we do it. Daniel says full BBR pick 1, Boyd, Reed, Reynolds, Wandale, Zay. Probably going to be going with Josh Reynolds with no St. Brown. Ron Burgundy, happy to see you as always, my man, says, Mason, my good man, non-BBR, start Sanders or Gus Edwards. Non-BBR format, we're going to go Gus Edwards. Also, pick 2 between Waddle, Myers, Kirk, and Hollywood. Stay classy, my man. We will be going with Waddle, and honestly, I kind of want to go Jacoby Myers now that you have Devontae Adams banged up and no Jimmy G. So unless by the time we get to tomorrow morning, Devontae Adams is cleared and good to go, we're going to play it on Waddle, Myers. And if Adams is cleared and good to go, then at that point, we would pivot to Christian Kirk. Keller says, Lawrence, Bijan, Montgomery, Wilson, Waddle, Kelsey, Brees, Hopkins, Pickens, Gabe Davis, Warren, Ford, Ingram, Pierce. Traded Pierce and Davis for Nico and Hopkins and Ford for Debo. I think, honestly, it's a fine deal. You may be overpaid just a bit. I don't love the timing of when we're selling Dameon Pierce here with this offensive line finally getting healthy. But it was a very fair price point to be making this play. R. Gravy says, Jameson, Javonte, or Jordan Addison in a full PPR format. Not playing a banged up Javonte. If Amon-Ra St. Brown doesn't play, I'll go with Jameson over Addison, as crazy as it sounds. Hospital Mike, always happy to see us, says 12-team full BBR double flex. Kyron for Saquon rest of season. Is it a fair deal? Yes, I would prefer Saquon, but I think it's a fair deal. Now's the sports guy says start 1, Flowers, Addison, or Dobbs. Evans is on bye. I think we're going to go, honestly, oh my gosh. I want to go Addison in the good matchup now that we have Odell and Bateman good to go. If you would have asked me earlier on in the week, I'd said Flowers, but now I think I'm going to Addison. But it is really close there. Now, Hines says start 2, Olave, Ridley, JT, Kupp. Thank you. No, thank you, my man. We're going to be going with Kupp and Olave in a full PPR format. Kupp and JT in a non-PPR league. Obviously, we have to be a little bit hesitant with JT with the report of the snap count. Now, Sam says, PBR, who do we start? Pollard and Montgomery. Chase and Olave. Pick 2 for the flex. Jones, Nico, James Cook, or Addison. You don't roll the dice. Just take Nico Collins, James Cook. I mean, there's no reason to risk Aaron Jones on Monday night, right? If we have guys in that similar range. Cream says, who do we bench between Swift, HN, and Saquon? Ooh. Probably going to be benching Achane even with Saquon injured, to be honest with you. I mean, obviously, it's not a spot that I feel super comfortable to tell you to do that. But I think we may have to. Now, we're almost back to where we can turn Super Chats back on. Just give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. So Night Vaughn says, start Sutton or Rice. We're definitely going to go Sutton. Don't overthink it. Sean says, pick 2, Connor, Puka, James Cook, Mixon in a half PPR format. We're going to be going with Joe Mixon and no, we're going to be going with Puka and James Cook. Let's go Puka, James Cook until we see that Burrow is actually healthy. Oh, thank God. Oh, my gosh. Let everything closed on me. Oh, got real scared there. Mad Max says, and happy to see you, Mad Max. Long time member of the vlog. Start Lamar or Richardson. We're going to go Lamar. 2-2. Been since last season since I dropped a super chat. I didn't even know it's been that long. I know you staying out with us all the time back in the day, my man. Really appreciate you. But I'm still here. Also, thoughts on Waller, Addison, Akers, rest of season. Waller, it's all about the offense. So the offense can be better. Waller can be better. Addison's going to keep on improving. Not worried about Addison. And then Akers, I think, is just like a premium handicap back. Madison were to go down. I think Madison and Akers split the backfield. Neither guy's a ton of value without another injury to someone else. Brady says, Eckler and Kittle for Kelsey and JT. Honestly, give me Kelsey and JT there. And I love Eckler going forward. And Belo's coming out, says, 12-team full BBR. We have Stroud, Stevenson, Swift, Diggs, Chase, Goddard, Jacobs. I have Dobbs on the bench. Is it a bad thing that we have JT, Jeb Wilson, and Keaton? I don't think so. I would go ahead and I would play Jonathan Taylor over Ramondre Stevenson. I do know that every single person is super high on Keaton Mitchell, and I just don't get where like the real upside is, to be honest with you. Okay. Now, Jacob says 10-team BBR double flex. We have Richardson, Burrow, Saquon, Etienne, Walker, Herbert, Diggs, AJ, Higgins, Watson, Deontay, Wandale, Claypool, Kelsey. Any moves or stay as is? I think we're going to stay as is for this week. If Burrow actually shows us that he is healthy and Burrow goes out there and effectively moves the ball down the field this week, then at that point, if we know we can rely upon Burrow going forward, then at that point, we look to see if we can get some really nice price tag for Anthony Richardson. But until then, probably enough to hold on to both these quarterbacks. Lil Isaiah says, hey, Mason, should we start Breece in Cup or Adams in Cup? I'm afraid Adams won't play Monday. Thanks for all the hard work. Appreciate you, my man. And if we have no news by the time we get to the kickoff for the Jets game, I'm completely fine if you wanted to go through and play Breece there. Hoover says Wilson or Judy this week. I'm going to go Jerry Judy over Michael Wilson, my friend. Akil Glass says 10-team full BBR. We have JT, Saquon, and Bijan at running back. Should we trade Ramondre and Warren for Aaron Jones? 10-team league. I'm fine with us going and getting the best player. I'm fine with us doing that. Now, Augustin says, do we drop Hunt or Charbonnet? We're going to be dropping Hunt before Zach Charbonnet. Like, you're not starting Zach Charbonnet with a healthy Kenneth Walker, but if Walker goes down, Charbonnet can be a top 12 back. Tron Force says, just traded Dobbs for James Cook. Great move. Who do we start at the flex? Sanders, Jameson, Rice, or Michael Wilson? We go Miles Sanders, even if we're not excited about it. And Jameson Williams actually looks like he may be viable. Ludovic says, Mason, my team's too good. Who should we start? 10-team full BBR, 1 flex. Fields, Tyreek, Cup, Wilson, Watson, Godwin, JT, Barkley, Jacobs, Kyron. Oh my gosh, we have a nutso team. So, I mean, obviously we're out to a large lead if we already played Justin Fields. Wide receiver, we're going to be going with Tyreek and Cup. Running back, we're going to be going with JT, Jacobs. And then for the flex, we will go Kyron. Unless we get news that Barkley is good to go and we can rely upon Barkley. And then we probably pivot from JT to Barkley. But, I mean, Barkley may be on a snap count as well. Let me skip ahead. Batman Gaming coming out saying, would you trade Palmer and Zach Ertz for Dallas Goedert? Not in a league where we can start 5 wide receivers. Unless you can go to the waiver wire and see, okay, well, this other wide receiver is in a comparable range to what we have with Joshua Palmer. I don't think we do that, my man. AJ says, Judy over Michael Wilson. Are you, my man? Judy over Michael Wilson is a very normal call. If you are that high on Michael Wilson, go over to Underdog. I mean, is Pickham's 3 receptions, 38.5 receiving yards. If you're that high on Michael Wilson, go take the more than 38.5 receiving yards for Wilson, my friend. Don't come out here and scream at me in the chat about it. Okay. Now, our next question coming out from, I believe, Mongoose says, flex who, Khalif Raymond or Nick Westbrook-Akeen? Ugh. Probably neither. Probably Nick Westbrook-Akeen if we have no Treylon Burks. Now, Brock says, 12-team Happy BR, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex. We have Lamar, Lamb, Puka, Henry, JT Madison, Komet, White, Gabe Davis, Addison, Wilson, and Joku Charbonnet. 3-1 was offered Etienne Chase for Henry, White, Addison. Henry to Chase, give me Chase. White and Addison versus Etienne. Give me Etienne, especially in a single flex league where we are loaded at the very top, getting JT back in. Love that move. Love that move. Now, BGH says, love the content. Keep it coming. Pick 3, Pittman, Ayuk, Lamb, Ridley. Currently 3-1. Hell yes, my man. We're going to be going with Lamb, Ayuk, and then between Michael Pittman, Calvin Ridley, it is up to you. I think we can kind of go back and forth between these players. I currently have Ridley ranked at 36 in our flex rankings, and we have Pittman at 30. So we currently have Ridley as the guy we're benching there. Now, AB23 says, I have Lamar, Stroud, Kamara. Pollard, Ayuk, Dell, Hawkinson, Wilson, Barkley, Lockett, St. Brown, Palmer. 8-team league. In an 8-team league, we need to go through and we need to get a better tight end. We're not going to be able to get away with starting Hunter Henry. Let's go through. Let's take a wide receiver like Tyler Lockett with Hunter Henry, and let's just go get a tight end like Evan Ingram. I know it's not some massive upgrade, but just anything in an 8-team format where the wide receiver depth won't matter. Giggity Goose says, pick 2, Dobbs, Pierce, and Kirk. We're going to go with Pierce and Christian Kirk, my friend. John Wick's Dog says, love the show. We got offered Cup for Pollard. We're going to go Pollard, my man. Who are we going to start? Henry, Jones, HN, Kyron, Ford, Debo, Waddle, Watson, Hollywood. We're going to go with Derrick Henry, Kyron Williams at running back. Wide receiver, we're going to go Waddle, Debo, and we're going to go with Devon Achane there at the flex. But it looks like we should be able to turn Super Chats back on, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry we had Super Chats off. Just whenever we get too far behind on questions, I turn them off. That way we can catch up on all the questions. That way I don't want anybody having to send a Super Chat, then wait 45 minutes to an hour for it to get answered. Rather it be more reasonable for everybody hanging out with us in these live streams. And now as I pull this over, I just realized less than 10% of y'all have gone down there and hit that like button. Go drop a like on this live stream if you have not done so already, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. We have live streamed every single day since April without missing a day. And also, of course, if you want to check out any of these pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, you'll get a 100% deposit match up to $500 on Underdog Fantasy. Plus, you'll get our rest of season rankings and tiers. And you'll be getting a Tua special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard for the game tonight. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter if you use promo code FLOCK. 2 years ago, last year, today, tomorrow, we're hooking everybody up who used promo code FLOG with a Justin Herbert special pick'em next week. Super happy and super proud that I'm able to get y'all that. So please make sure you are taking advantage of it. Now, Thomas says, Jaleel over Downs even if Javonte plays. If Javonte plays and it's a full PBR format, then you definitely need to go ahead and you need to play Josh Downs over Jaleel, my man. Now, Jagger says, how much of a role does Zach Moss have this week? We don't exactly know. Obviously, or the report is going to be that you have Jonathan Taylor splitting the backfield here. Now, with that being said, I don't necessarily know if we want to go through and say like, okay, well, we need to operate under the assumption that Jonathan Taylor is not a running back we can rely on. I'm still starting Jonathan Taylor. I still think that Taylor is going to be good to go. And ultimately, I think you probably have like 30 to 40% of this backfield being James Cook. At least I'd imagine. But Legend, hey, appreciate you, my man, says, hey, I need some help. 12-team app PBR 6-point passing touchdown league. I'm offering Devontae for Olave in either Swift or Saquon. We would take the package there, my friend. In 12-team format, give me Saquon and Olave. Give me Swift and Olave. My running backs are Bijan White. My receivers are Adams, Ridley, Flowers, Moore. I'm 3-1. I think it makes a lot of sense. Maybe if it was a 10-team league where we started 2 wide receivers, 1 flex, maybe there we wouldn't do it. But here, I think that we would like to. And yeah, you're in a really good spot to go ahead and make this play, my friend. Really do like that. I would still prefer Saquon over DeAndre Swift, but I'm a crazy person. Now, Mason says, Reynolds is a bum, starting Jameson and not looking back. I do think that Jameson is a much, much better real-life wide receiver than Josh Reynolds. I do think that possibly Josh Reynolds is a better fantasy option based off how they're utilized in their respective offense. But, I mean, I'd still probably go Jameson over Reynolds. Mr. Clutch says, what do you think about this trade I made? Puka and George Pickens for Jamar Chase and F. Oh my gosh. I would rather have Jamar Chase straight up here, let alone the package. Who do you think won the deal? Oh, yeah, definitely you. I mean, I'd rather have Chase over the combo of Pickens and Puka now that you have Kupp coming back in. Austin says, Pierce, Adams for DJ and Kyron. Pierce to Kyron, give me Kyron. Adams to DJ, give me Devontae Adams. It's not close. I'm going to go with the Devontae Adams side, especially as the Houston Texans offensive line improves overall. Now, Zabronsky says, Yo, Mason traded Ayuk and Nico for ETN. We have Kupp, Puka, Waddle, Ridley to cover the loss of the 2. Is this a W? Also start Puka or Devonta Smith? Obviously, it's a little bit tougher now that you have Cooper Kupp coming back in. If you look at my flex rankings, I do have Puka at 18. Whereas I have Smith at 16. So these guys are pretty much back-to-back. Probably go Smith here. And if this is a 2 wide receiver, 1 flex league where we have this massive wide receiver room, I am fine with the trade. Christian, happy to see you, my man. I'm super sorry about whatever happened with the question earlier. I have no idea what happened. 12-team feels fragile after trading Laporta DK for Kelsey Addison. Phenomenal trade. And Montgomery Pittman for Austin Eckler. Great deal as well. Team is Henry, Walker, Eckler, Diggs, Watson, Addison, Rasheed, Michael Wilson, Kelsey, Rasheed or Michael Wilson in the flex. And should we trade for depth? We don't need a trade for depth. I understand that it's going to be a very tough spot to be in this week in particular when we have multiple players on bye here. In the long term, I think that you are going to be in a fine spot to just go through and work the waiver wire. And this week, I think we go Michael Wilson. Long term, I think you can make an argument for Rasheed. This week, I think we want Wilson, though. Now, Nick says 3 running backs we need to start. Connor, Kamara, Hall, and JT. I'm ready to play JT over James Conner. I'm going to go JT, Hall, and Alvin Kamara, even with JT potentially being on that snap count. Christian says 3-1, 10-team BBR. Need help this week. We have Hurts, CMC, Jacob, Smith, Puka, Laporta, London, Terry, Moss, Jameson, Eckler. 1 open bench spot. Rest of season is a great need. Week 5 flex. So we're going to be starting CMC, Jacobs, Smith, Puka, and then we're going to be looking between London, Moss, and Jameson. Honestly, I think you maybe have a slightly higher floor with Drake London, but I think you have a much higher ceiling with Jameson Williams under the assumption that you have no Amon-Ra St. Brown and you have no Jahmyr Gibbs in this offense. So personally, I think we're going to go ahead and we are going to take Jameson Williams if we're chasing the ceiling here, my man, by the phenomenal team. Now, Chris says 10-team PBR. We need one to bench. Between Hollywood, JT, Connor, James Cook, bench Hollywood Brown. Play the running backs with the volume. Gabriel, always happy to see you. My man says Olave, Pittman, or Myers. Thinking to start in Myers if Adams is out. If Adams is officially ruled out, yes, we will start. You can start. I'm sorry. If Adams is out, you can start Myers here. If not, if we don't have that clarity by the time we have to make this decision, we will go ahead and we will play Chris Olave, my friend. Dewey says 12-team full PBR, 3 receivers and a flex. Saquon, Mixon, Kamara, Kupp, Puka, Wilson, Olave. Here we're going to start. We're going to start Kupp, Puka, Olave, wide receiver. Running back, we're going to go Saquon, Mixon, and Kamara for 2 running backs and a flex. If Saquon misses, then at that point, obviously, we pivot to Garrett Wilson. But as it stands now, I think we plan on benching Wilson and playing everybody else. Aiden says, PBR, play Myers or JT in the flex. I'm going to go JT over Myers. Obviously, if you have, say, no Devontae Adams, then at that point we can reevaluate. Saying I'm worried about the snap count and the Titans defense for JT and Adams injury. Yeah, exactly. I mean, 100% understand that. Victor says, hey, Mason, I have Sanders, Higgins, Nico Collins that I'm looking to trade away. What should we look for? Full transparency, nobody's trading for T. Higgins from you. I would not even bother trying to trade T. Higgins. I just don't think that you will be getting anything. So what I would much prefer doing is I would much prefer to go ahead and see if we could sell like Nico Collins, Miles Sanders, and pivot over to a wide receiver in like the CeeDee Lamb range. That would be an absolute no-brainer. But I think that Higgins may actually be an interesting buy low candidate after this week if Joe Burrow is actually getting better, as they were saying. Abel says, start 2, HN, JT, James Cook. Love the content. Appreciate you, my man. We will go HN, James Cook, just with Jonathan Taylor being on the snap count. Grant says, 1 and 3, have BBR format. We have Goff, Stroud, Jefferson, Ayuk, Jacobs, Taylor, Laporta, Collins. And then on the bench, we have Lawrence, Javonte, Jameson, Dell, Walker. Thoughts and any moves? Really strong team. I mean, I think maybe if we do get Jameson Williams coming with some massive spike week with no Amon-Ra St. Brown, then potentially we're going to go ahead and look to sell. But we're not doing that until we actually see Jameson on the field, right? But say we get some massive spike week from Jameson, then we can go through and send like Jameson and Goff and go get like Anthony Richardson. I think that could make a lot of sense. Now, Zabronsky says start 3.5 PBR format. Kupp, Puka, Ayuk, and Waddle. I'm going to start both Rams with relative ease. If you're looking at Ayuk and Waddle in our rankings this week, I have Waddle at 27 and Ayuk at 29 in our flex rankings. So between those two guys, it is up to you. I probably do go ahead and I probably take Jalen Waddle, but obviously Ayuk has been better as of late. BGH, happy to see my man says, love the content, keep it coming. Got to choose 3 between Ayuk, Pittman, Ridley, Lamb, and hoping to crush. Hoping you crush as well. I think we're going to go Ayuk, Pittman, and CeeDee Lamb. I think we are going to bench Calvin Ridley. It's a tough matchup. And at the same time, you are dealing with Zay Jones coming back in, possibly impacting things, right? Like, we don't know exactly how it's going to impact, but it definitely could. Now, Dylan coming out saying 12-team PBR 3-1. We have Goff, Jacobs, Swift, Kupp, AJ, Ingram, Hopkins, Latavius, Spears, Zay, Palmer, Jameson. Thoughts on the team, any moves? And then start Hopkins or Jameson at the flex. I think Hopkins gives you higher floor. I think Jameson gives you higher ceiling. Obviously, it's very difficult to know exactly what we're going to get from Jameson. Jameson's a wide receiver that has really never had a full role at the NFL level before. So realistically speaking, I don't know what we can expect. I don't know, my man. I think it's a very strong team. I don't think there are any moves that we are looking to make right now. I'm trying to think of something. Obviously, just keep churning the bottom into that roster. Like, I don't know if Latavius is someone that is better than the other options that we have on the waiver wire in a 12-team league. So I just continue to churn those waiver wire options and probably chilling for now. But Joey coming out with our next question. And this is, just traded A.J. Brown and Breece Hall for Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jonathan Taylor. I love the haul for Taylor. I think that's a clear upgrade. A.J. Brown to Amon-Ra St. Brown. If Amon-Ra St. Brown is healthy, it's a similar tier. So I'd really like it, and I would love the deal. Now, the question is, how healthy is Amon-Ra St. Brown? Will Amon-Ra St. Brown miss some time here? Which is something that we just simply don't know. We have Etienne, Achane, Kyron, Saquon, Tyreek, Ridley. Phenomenal team. It really does come down to the health and what we have with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now, Balder coming out says, traded DJ Dobbs for Waddle Judy on the Thursday night pregame. DJ Waddle, probably give me Waddle if I'm going to be honest with you. Dobbs, Judy, probably give me Judy if I'm going to be honest with you. I know most people would go with the DJ Moore side here. I'm a little bit of an idiot, so give me the Waddle side. Still pending. We played DJ. All right, trade. Yes. Especially if we get DJ's points this week. That's a great spot to be in. To get his points. And then when it's not certain going into the future, then getting someone else. We all have Allen, Lamb, Mostert, Bijan, Hollywood, Aaron Jones, Kittle. And then on the bench, we have Tutu, Dobbs, Rice, and Michael Wilson. Seeing if we can swap anything in starting lineup. No, I think we keep lineup as is. I like having Aaron Jones in the flex. That we would have more pivot options if he does not play on Monday night. But Tomsky coming out says 12-team full BBR where we have Judy, Addison, or Jaleel in the flex. Javonte doesn't play. We probably go Jaleel. And if he does, we probably go Judy. Probably go Judy. Doug says start 2. Mixon, Achane, Breece. All three have great matchups. I know Breece is lowest ranked, but all the talk about the potential breakout week. So I would go with Mixon and Achane. And this is something that I do a little bit differently than a lot of other people. Like, you hear a lot of people in this live stream asking, should we start Rashee Rice? Should we start Rashee Rice? Should we start Rashee Rice? You'll notice like a lot of people that make content overall, whether they make podcasts, they're on TV, they're on YouTube, it doesn't really matter. Everybody wants to take pride and they want to call the breakout. They want to say this player is a must-start guy before we even see him do anything this season. They want to say, go start Rashee Rice. He's a sneaky play. And it may be true if you're in a spot, say, that you're in like a dynasty league, start 11 guys, and you're like, okay, I guess I got to start Rashee Rice before he breaks out because I have no better options. But in reality, in these shallow redraft formats, you're a lot better rostering these guys that are supposed to have the breakout week. You don't get any extra points for actually calling their breakout, starting them the week that they break out. We can always, if we have a great option like Joe Mixon, like Devon Achane, who's already broken out, play the guy where we have a better idea of what we're actually going to get. And then the following week, if the breakout does happen, then we can be excited about that guy and we can put him in our starting lineup then. Like, you don't get extra points for having him in your lineup the week that he breaks out. So I'm always like, I would always rather be 1 week late to the party rather than like in week 1 being the guy starting Sky Moore or Kadarius Toney trying to call the breakout and he gives us a dud. Angel says trade alert, traded Etienne, Breece, Ayuk, and Stafford for Dak, Eckler, Pickens. So Stafford to Dak, slight upgrade, not a super big deal. Essentially, the deal is Etienne, Breece, and Ayuk for Eckler, Pickens. Good deal. Good deal. We have Eckler, Lamar, Achane, Lamb, Amon-Ra, Chase, Higgins, Pickens, Warren, Jaleel, Keaton, Laporta, Dulcich, Dak. A great team. Honestly, I don't even think we need the backup quarterback. I don't even think we need the backup tight end here, just because we're so strong at the very top. But yeah, great team. A great spot to be in, my friend. Joe says, 12-team full BBR. We have Allen, Etienne, Hall, Jefferson, Puka, Ingram, Myers, Hopkins, London, Purdy, Tutu, Hubbard, Waller, Jaleel. Should we trade Jefferson for A.J. Brown and JT? Should we hold or look elsewhere for a running back? So we don't really need a running back here. Running back could help, but it's not our number one priority. I think it is a fair deal if you wanted to make it, and it is a deal with upside. You are 100% the person taking on the risk. You are getting a little bit of upside for that risk as well, because obviously it is in the range of outcomes for Jonathan Taylor to come out and be a top 5 running back rest of season. As long as you know that you are the party that's taking on the risk here, my friend. Riley says, have BBR need a flex between Stevenson, Gabe Davis, Dell, and also need a tight end between Ertz and Hunter Henry. Also, love all the hard work you've been doing. I'm 4-0. No, you're 4-0 thanks to yourself, my man. Really happy for you. We are going to go ahead. We will play Ramondre Stevenson, even if Stevenson looks bad, even if, I mean, he is bad. He has the guaranteed volume. And then between Zach Ertz and Hunter Henry, here it's a little bit of a tougher spot. I mean, if you look at my if you look at my tight end rankings this week, we have literally Zach Ertz and Hunter Henry ranked back-to-back at 12 and 13, so you can go either way. I probably go Zach Ertz, though. I probably do. Now, Chubb coming out says, PBR for the flex, JT Ridley, Debo Madison, and Flowers. In this range, it's either going to be Ridley or JT for me. It depends how nervous you are about the snap count. I'd probably go ahead. I'd probably take JT. Big Body Birds coming out says, I have Herbert. Do we trade Devontae Adams? Tutu. Tutu has literally zero value. For Keenan and Brees. So Adams for Keenan and Brees. With the Mike Williams injury, I'm completely fine with us making this play and going and getting Keenan and Brees. Completely fine with it. Okay. Now, our next question coming out from Laker Niners says 12-team at BBR start 2. We have Addison, Dell, Pickens, Jameson. We're going to go Pickens and Jameson now that you have no St. Brown, and at the same time that Pickens has a healthy Kenny Pickett. Mild Flames says trade Evans, Pittman, Bryan for Keenan Allen. 10-team, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex league. Sure, anything deeper, probably paying a little bit too much. Jason says Cook, Swift, or Kyron. We have to start 2. We're going to be going probably with Swift. And then between James Cook, Kyron Williams, it is a little bit tougher. I mean, if you're looking at my flex rankings this week, I do have Kyron Williams ranked considerably ahead of him, but I think it's actually a lot closer. Probably go Swift and Kyron Williams, even if we have Josh Allen at quarterback, my man. David, welcome to the flock. Happy to have you, my man. Shane says, love the content. Been watching since last season. Hell yes, my man. Picked Ion CMC last year, thanks to you. Traded DK and Judy for Brees and Lockett. I have depth in Olave, Pittman, and Addison. DK to Brees, probably want the Brees side of things now. Judy for Lockett, probably the Lockett side. Doesn't matter too much. I mean, hell, you can say you may have Lockett over DK. I mean, if you break it down like DK and Lockett are about the same, where, I mean, DK has had 23 targets this season, and Lockett's had 27. Just say they're about the same. Judy for Brees, I mean, obviously, you'd rather have Brees, and it's not close there. Logan says, do I risk playing Aaron Jones or start Rashee Rice in the flex? You go Aaron Jones in the flex, and worst case scenario, you have someone else that's comparable that we can pivot to on Monday night. Ron Burgundy says, have one more for you. I need an upgrade at RB2. I have Kamara, Sanders, Dillon. Receivers are Diggs, Waddle, Higgins, Hollywood, Kirk, Myers. Any ideas? The thing is, who are we going to, if you can go like Christian Kirk and Miles Sanders just to go get James Cook, I think that'd make a lot of sense. Obviously, if we could get to ETN, if we could get to Swift, that would be like a no-brainer. I think James Cook is a little bit more of like a reasonable price range, or maybe Kyron Williams as well. But yeah, when we have that kind of wide receiver depth, I think that would be interesting, especially if you have, say, Zay Jones coming back in, and how it would be appealing to go out there and see if we could sell Christian Kirk. But real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we are 1 like away from hitting 700 likes on this live stream. Please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this stream. Help us get to 700. And Easy Eddie says, hey, Mason, one for the flex, London or Wandale. We are going to go London over Wandale. Frozen State says, Cup for ETN in a quarter point PPR format. Probably going to go Cup. It is close. And then also, if you haven't done so already, not only drop a like, subscribe. We live stream every single day. We haven't missed a day since 2024. And if you want to check out any of these pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, you're going to be getting a 100% deposit match up to $500. Plus, you're going to be getting our updated rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, you'll be getting a Tua special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard for the games this weekend. And if you use promo code FLOCK, doesn't matter if it was 2 years ago, last year, yesterday, today, or tomorrow, you're going to be getting a Justin Herbert special pickup, more than less than half a total yard for next week coming out of the bye. Super pumped I'm able to get you all that, so please make sure you take advantage. DF says, running back room is trash. Start 2, Javonte Chuba, Gainwell, Moss, Breida, or pick up Akers from the waiver wire. Drop Gainwell to get Akers right now, regardless if we play him or not. We would go Breida, number 1, if Saquon's out. Obviously, Breida's not startable if Saquon plays. Then afterwards, we probably go Javonte if he plays. That's plan B. Plan C is Chuba Hubbard. Plan D is Cam Akers, in that order. Gilbert, happy to see you, my man. Says, damn fresh cut. How much was that Oppenheimer? Okay, what the? I did not get a chance to see Oppenheimer, so let me see how bad this is, my man. Oppenheimer. You got to be kidding me here, my man. I guess, honestly, no lies detected, though. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. Man. I honestly was going to buzz off my hair, like, completely. But just because I was very, very tired of it. The issue is my hairline is straight up cooked, ladies and gentlemen. And on top of that, like, I have a massive, massive scar that goes from here to here. So we were going to buzz it completely, but girlfriend was going to be upset if we did that. So we decided to pivot off of the complete buzz and go a little bit halfway between. But let me know in the live chat. Should we go short or long hair going forward? Short or long hair? Let me know. But our next question coming out from, I believe, Kelby says, did I mess up trading Devonta Smith and Achane for Austin Eckler in a 12-team app PBR format? Oh, no, great deal. Currently 1-3 due to bombs getting dropped on me. I mean, yeah, a great trade. I mean, obviously it does suck if we are looking at the fact that he's on bye this week, but every player is going to have to deal with the bye week, right? That's not the only thing you're going to have with Eckler. I mean, that's not an only Eckler thing. Short, long, long, long. Short, long. It looks like most people are saying long here. Looks like most people are saying long. All right. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for the input. Now, next question coming out from, I believe, Mild Flame says, also, more Aaron Jones for Devontae Adams. 2 wide receiver, 1 flex league. Give me Devontae Adams, if the depth doesn't matter. Abraham says, PBR pick 3. We have JT, Etienne, Mixon, Swift, and Achane. We're going to be going with Swift, Etienne, and Achane. Swift, Etienne, and Achane. I really want to tell you, JT, just no reason when these other running backs are like locked and loaded into nice rolls to even just roll the dice there, right? OZ Justin says 3-1, 12-team at BBR double flex. Thinking of doing Etienne and Tyreek for Jonathan Taylor, Kamara, and Saquon. And Collins. So you're going from Etienne to JT, upgrade. Not a massive one, but an upgrade. Then Tyreek to Kamara and Collins, massive downgrade. Even in a double flex format, keep the best player, keep Tyreek Hill here. We have Mahomes, Walker, Pittman, Addison, Godwin, Sutton, Godwin, Komet, and Higbee. If we could go like ETN and Pittman and get back like JT and Nico Collins, that would be much better. Just there's no reason for us to go through and look to trade away Jonathan Taylor. I'm sorry, not Jonathan Taylor. Tyreek Hill here, my friend. Ethan says, do I drop Jalen Warren and stash Spears? It's an 8-team PPR format. I wouldn't. I mean, Jalen Warren's leading his backfield in snaps now at this point. So, yeah, no, you got to hold on to Warren. If you were to have an injury to Najee, Warren could 100% be a very viable player. Batman Gaming says, at PPR, would you trade Jones, Dillon, Palmer, Judy for Henry, Spears, Higbee, Gabe Davis? 3 wide receiver double flex league. Running backs are Mixon, Walker, Jones, Dillon, Damian. Jones to Henry upgrade. Judy to Gabe Davis lateral move. Dillon, Palmer to Spears, Higbee. Who the hell cares? Yes, we're going to go ahead and do this. We are going to get Derrick Henry and Gabe Davis. Obviously, Derrick Henry has his red flags, but it's not like Aaron Jones doesn't have his own. And at the same time, it's a half PPR format, not a full PPR league. AWS says 10-team half PPR standard. Who are my wide receivers? Running backs and flex for week 5. We have Pollard, Achane, Kamara, Breece, Javonte, Gibbs, Adams, Smith, Puka, Flowers, Addison, Evans, Kupp, and Deontay. Running back, we're going to be going with Pollard, Achane. Wide receiver, we're going to be going with Smith, Puka. And then for the flex, we are probably going to be going with Cooper Kupp. Obviously, if we can make a 2-for-1 deal where we don't have to go through and drop someone off this team, that would be very advantageous because you were just loaded here, my man. You were loaded. Okay. Now, our next question coming out from Sleep Deprived Amateur who says, we have Allen, Puka, Chase, Kyron, Kelsey, Andrews, Flowers, Pacheco, Nico, Tank Dell, Montgomery, James Cook. We want the Diggs Allen stack. What would be a fair trade for Diggs? Okay. We could either one, trade Kelsey straight up for Stephon Diggs when we have Mark Andrews. Or 2, we could potentially look to go ahead and take, say, Mark Andrews and a depth wide receiver like Nico Collins and go get Stephon Diggs there when we have Travis Kelsey. But regardless, the way that we go about this is we try to go ahead and we try to specifically trade away one of those tight ends. I mean, we're not in a good spot rostering both Kelsey and Andrews. Gary says 1-3, 10-team PPR single flex. We have Puka, AJ Brown, Andrews, Lamar, Thielen, Watson, Barkley, Pollard, Taylor, Mixon, Achane. 5K winner takes all. Oh my gosh, ruthless league here, my man. I mean, phenomenal team. We have Lamar and Andrews stacked up. We are just absurdly loaded at running back. I think we let this week play out. And then what we probably look to do is we probably look to go ahead and take one of these running backs like Joe Mixon and package him with Puka to go get a stud wide receiver if we can. Just knowing that we're in a spot where we have Barkley, Pollard, Taylor, Mixon, Achane. I don't want to make it right now, though, because 1, it's going to be hard to make a trade inside the next, 12 hours. And 2, also, I mean, we don't know the availability of JT, right away. And you could say the same thing with Saquon Barkley. Ty says, start 2 with the flex. Waddle, Ridley, Watson, JT. Thanks. Thank you, my friend. We will go Waddle and JT here. Now, Caleb says trade Pacheco and Wilson to get Puka. Fair deal, up to you. By no means do I think this is something we have to do. You definitely can if you would like. Okay. Now, Derek says, should I trade to get Tyreek Hill for another elite level player? We have Allen, CMC, Bijan. Oh my gosh. Olave, Cup, Laporta, Kyron. HN, Stroud, Watson, DJ, James, Connor, McLaurin. This is already an absurd team. If we could somehow add Tyreek Hill to this team, that would be nuts. If you could go ahead and take like DJ Moore and Kyron Williams to get to, like say DJ Moore, Kyron Williams, and CJ Stroud and go get to Tyreek Hill, that'd be an absolute no-brainer with this roster. I mean, you know I really like Olave. And even if we could go through and take maybe like Olave and DJ Moore, because I mean, DJ Moore, I think in my mind, kind of has to be the centerpiece of this deal because you're going to have to trade someone that people are excited about, right? Like, you're not going to be able to trade just anybody here. I think essentially the goal is let's take DJ Moore. Let's take him with one of these secondary pieces. Let's see if we can hold on to the core of Allen, CMC, Bijan, Cup. Is if we can hold on to that core and then still make a trade for Tyreek Hill. Like, nobody's stopping that team. Now, Pai Tai says 1-3. We need some help. 10-team league. We have Lawrence, Barkley, Taylor, Chase, Samuel, Waller, Kirk, and Watson. Obviously, we need some help at quarterback, but the issue is we're not going to be able to trade Lawrence for anything right now. So, I mean, we just really need to hope that Lawrence starts performing better. That's what really this team hinges on. I mean, honestly, I don't necessarily think that we need to be really making too many trades here. I think this team will be in a much better situation going forward. I understand how it's been frustrating as of late. I mean, obviously, if you're in a spot, say that you had no Taylor, then Barkley gets injured, then Saquon, and then Lawrence is a bum. Like, it's understandable how this team has been bad, but I think it will be much better going forward. Now, Redeem says Smith, Ayuk, Wilson, Ridley. Start who in the flex? We're going to go Devonta Smith here. I'm not going to think about that one too much. Ryan says pick 2 BBR, Barkley, Aller, Madre, JT, and Sutton. We're going to be going with Barkley, JT, assuming Barkley plays. And if he doesn't, we'll go JT and Breece Hall. Now, next question coming out from, I believe, Doug, who says with cutback, start 2, Puka, Pittman, Hollywood, and a Hall. We're going to go Puka and Pittman in a full PPR format, my friend. Risa, welcome to the vlog. Happy to have you. Well, happy to have you. And then Brandon says 3-1, 12-team full PPR, 4-point passing touchdown. Burrow or Stroud? We are going to be going Stroud this week. Still probably Burrow in the long term, but we actually want to see Burrow producing and healthy. Take care of your underwear. Says PPR, if Amon-Ra's out, Jameson or Raymond in the flex. I'm going to go Jameson, my friend. Mr. Macro says, sup, my man? Trade talk, Chase and Javonte for Bijan and Hopkins. Give me Bijan and Hopkins, even if, I mean, you were to have a healthy, or even if Burrow's getting healthier. Or Chase for Kelsey straight up. Thanks, Bruno. Thank you. And I'm very biased. Hook 'em horns, even though we took a sad loss today. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take our guy, Bijan Robinson. I mean, he does look like he's penciled in to be a top 3 running back every week. Sob Napkin says start 1, 10-team at BBR, Judy Hopkins and Alexander Madison. I think we are going to go ahead. We are going to start Alexander Madison here, even if we don't love it. Alex says start 2, Mostert, JT, Hollywood. We're going to go with JT and Mostert with no Jeff Wilson Jr. Mostert looks like he's probably going to be a start again. Nathan says, should we trade DJ Moore for Austin Eckler? Hell yes, go get Austin Eckler. Not close. Gilbert out again. 10-team BBR, double flex. We have Jalen Hurts, Jamar Chase, Swift, Warren, Puka, Watson, Fields, Flowers, Jaleel, Roshan, Chuba. What kind of running backs can we get for Fields? Or maybe trade Jalen Hurts for it? Honestly, I think the move is going to be to trade Justin Fields because I still easily prefer Jalen Hurts rest of season. And in reality, the trades that I've seen with these guys kind of going at a similar price range. If you are selling them for a running back right now, there's like not a massive difference that you are going to get with price. So, I mean, if you could, I think it makes sense to see if we can package together, say, like Justin Fields and Jalen Warren and get a player like Austin Eckler. That would be a no-brainer. I mean, if you could go through and get someone like Tony Pollard, go get someone like Bijan Robinson, go get Jonathan Taylor, hell, maybe even go get Saquon Barkley. Let me pull up an entire list of running backs. Obviously, the majority of these guys you will get rejected for, but I mean, still, we send out 9 offers, 8 of them get rejected, and we get 1 accepted, that'll be fine. If we can package together, essentially tell these owners, hey guys, I'll give you Justin Fields and any running back on my team, not named Jamar Chase. You choose the guy and give me back any of these RBs. I'm assuming majority of these will be rejected. We just need 1 though. CMC, Bijan, Pollard, Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, Swift, Jacobs, possibly, Etienne, possibly. But we would wait to offer the possibly guys until we at least for sure get rejected from the studs. But Jake says Zay for Mostert. I would rather have Mostert. I think he has higher ceiling. I mean, going into last week, Mostert was the #1 overall scoring player in fantasy through the first 3 weeks of the year. Duke says start 1 full BBR league. Boyd, JT, Dell. Oh, definitely going to go JT. Not close there, my man. Not close. Okay. Now, Jason says we have Watson, Love, Aaron Jones, Connor, Montgomery, Kyron, Achane, Kupp, Ridley, Lockett, Michael Thomas, Kelsey, Laporta. Any trade recommendations, get a wide receiver. Yeah, I mean, if we have Kelsey and Laporta, then we're selling Laporta, right? We look to see if we can take like Laporta and Michael Thomas and go get to like the Chris Olave, Devonta Smith range. Now, Myth says, Amon-Ra St. Brown and Gibbs out. Who do we start at wide receivers in the flex? We have Watson, Wilson, Addison, Ridley, and Javonte. We're going to be going with Watson and Ridley. We're going to go Watson and Ridley. It is a little bit frustrating, however, that Amon-Ra St. Brown and Gibbs are both out, right? I mean, I wish that was not the case. But Sob Napkin says 10-team at BBR double flex. We have Richardson, Etienne, JT, Montgomery, Keenan, Waddle, Laporta, Myers, Hopkins, Judy, Madison, Dell. Is there anything we should do to help the team? Not necessarily. I think this team's going to be really strong in the long term. In a double flex format, we're probably looking to hold on to the depth. So no, honestly, I think you're in a great spot, my man. Phoenix says Ayuk, Myers, Watson, Kyron, Montgomery, JT. We got to bench 1. We will bench Christian Watson here now that Jimmy G is good to go, and we are dealing with an injury to Devontae Adams. I think we have to play Myers over him. Jake says trade Ramadre and Pickens for Hall and Amari. Yes, I think I would rather have Hall over Ramadre, and I'd rather have Amari over Pickens at this point. Jeffrey says 10-team double flex starters. We have Richardson, Hill, Smith, Bijan, Achane, Ferguson, Hall, Puka. And then on the bench, we have Pierce, Addison, Jameson, Sanders, Lockett. Any trades or start-sit recommendations? So Pierce may actually be viable now that we have this Houston Texans offensive line starting to come back together. Double flex, I'm probably going to be keeping this team as is, waiting for some of these longer-term options on the bench to turn into something. But if we do get like a sell-high moment where we can sell one of these depth running backs like Miles Sanders and Jake Ferguson together to get that upgraded tight end, we'll take advantage of it. Just not something we can do right now. But ladies and gentlemen, we just hit 800 likes on the live stream. Thank you so much, everybody going down there and dropping a like, ladies and gentlemen. And if you haven't done so already, fix your life. Only, less than 10% of y'all have hit that like button. And of course, if you want to check out any of these pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, get a 100% deposit match, plus our rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, everybody's going to be getting a Tua special pick'em more than less than half a total yard if you are new to Underdog Fantasy. And if you've been on Underdog for a while or you're new to Underdog, we got everybody hooked up next week for a Justin Herbert special pick of more than less than half a total yard. Regardless, signed up to Underdog today, yesterday, 2 years ago, tomorrow. We got you hooked up with the Justin Herbert special pick next week as well, as long as you use promo code FLOCK. Gilbert says, thanks, brother. On record, love the cut. Thank you, my man. Happy to see that you're still out here rocking with us. Eddie says, 12-team PPR 4-0. We have Hurts, Bijan, Montgomery, Waddle, Olave, Hawkinson, DJ, Judy, Pittman, JSN. Traded Stroud, Collins, Jameson for Olave and JSN. Was this a good move? So Collins to Olave, upgrade. Jameson to JSN. Probably give me JSN if I'm be honest with you on a 4-0 team where we're looking long term. And we have Jalen Hurts at quarterback, so Stroud doesn't really do much for us. I think it was a great move. I think it was a great move. When it says full PPR, HN and Thielen for Gibbs and Ayuk. HN to Ayuk, lateral move, slight downgrade. Thielen to Gibbs, definite upgrade in my mind for the long term. I'd probably go Gibbs and Ayuk. Upgrading wide receiver, downgrading at running back there. Jamie says, should we drop Zach Moss for Josh Downs? We need help with the flex. We have Tankdale and Wandale in the flex right now. You can't drop... we do know if... I'm not dropping Zach Moss because we now know if Jonathan Taylor goes down, Zach Moss is a must start, like, week winning running back, right? So you can't drop Moss. If you wanted to pick up Josh Downs and start him, you can. But we're not looking to do that right now. Definitely not right now. Risa says 12-team full BBR single fly. And let me just repeat, sorry. If you want to play Josh Downs, you drop one of the receivers. Keep Zach Moss. Decide who you want to play in your flex and then roster those guys. Risa says 12-team full BBR single flex. Wide receivers, running backs in a flex for week 5. Connor, Aaron Jones, JT. Wide receiver, we have Kirk, Kupp, Dobbs, Dell, Zay. Thanks for all you do. No, thank you, my friend. So wide receiver, we are going to be going with Cooper Kupp. Running back, we are going to be going with JT. And for the flex spot, we will go James Conner. I would go Aaron Jones if he was fully good to go, but there's no reason to take the risk if you have James Conner. Marcono says start Taylor or Breece Hall. Interesting. Can everybody spam the chat? Where are you going here? Jonathan Taylor on the snap count or Breece Hall now no longer on the snap count? Obviously, Breece Hall with the better matchup. I think Jonathan Taylor is probably the better player, and I think Jonathan Taylor's in the much, much better offense. But please let me know, Hall or JT? Hall, JT, Hall. JT, Hall. Hall, JT, Hall. Hall. Yeah, so it looks like everybody is going Breece Hall there. The majority of people are going Breece Hall. Mr. Filthy Webb says, nice cut. Thank you, my man. Is JT startable despite his snap count? 100% I think he is. I think he is startable. It obviously depends on, like, your options, right? Like, JT or Jaleel, definitely give me JT. You know, I think he's probably like a mid RB2. Maximo says, one running back, one flex. We have Mostert, Hollywood, JT, Connor. Who should we start? I started Terry versus DJ. Should I go for the potential 45? Okay, so essentially 50-50 here. Also, Mahomes or Anthony Richardson. Definitely go with Mahomes here, my friend, even if Richardson looks great. Honestly, if we have Mahomes and Richardson, you should probably go through and sell Richardson to see if we can get to an elite level RB. And then for our running back slot, we're going to be going with JT. And for our flex, we're probably going to be going with Raheem Mostert as well. We're going to be going JT and Raheem Mostert now that Jeff Wilson Jr. is not good to go. Jero says for the flex, Wilson, Gallup, or Khalif Raymond. We will go Michael Wilson, even though I'm not a big Michael Wilson guy. G Money, happy to see you, my man. Says, I've been offered Eckler to trade away Bijan. What are your thoughts? We're going to keep Bijan just because you have no concerns. I mean, I preferred Bijan Robinson coming into the season over Austin Eckler, so maybe I'm a little bit biased here Just a running back the age of Austin Eckler is a little bit more likely to deal with injuries through this season than Bijan Robinson. We've already seen it so far this year, you know. So personally, I'm going to want to go ahead. I'm going to want to take Bijan. Nick says, full PPR, start 3. Debo, Flowers, Gabe Davis, Dell, and George Pickens. We're going to go ahead. We're going to go Debo Samuel, George Pickens, and Zay Flowers. Bench Gabe Davis and Tank Dell. Now that we have Kenny Pickett good to go. Dice says PBR Kirk or Mostert in the flex. We will go with Raheem Mostert in the flex, especially if Jeff Wilson Jr. is not going to be playing. Now, anonymous person says, 10-team double flex. We have Allen, Watson, Wilson, Pollard, Kamara, Igby, Robinson, Edwards. On the bench, we have Warren, Godwin, Allen, White, Palmer, Ferguson. Okay. Great team. I mean, obviously, this week is a little bit of a painful spot if you look at those guys that we have in the flex. But in reality, not much we can do about this. We just got to deal with bye weeks every once in a while, right? And here we have Chris Godwin on a bye. We have Keenan Allen on a bye. We have Rachaad White on a bye. It's coming out of it. We should be in a much better situation, but I think we keep it as is. Anthony says Barkley or Aaron Jones this week. If Barkley is playing, we're going to play Saquon Barkley over Aaron Jones, my friend. Jared says also Zach Moss or Gainwell. I probably want to be rostering Zach Moss because if Swift goes down, we haven't seen that Philadelphia will only use Kenneth Gainwell, and we haven't seen if Gainwell is going to be someone we can comfortably rely on. Where we saw if JT goes down, like Zach Moss is a must-start running back. And also JT's on the snap count. So I'd play both Zach Moss this week and roster him long-term. Now, On God coming out says, should we trade away Amari and get Christian Watson and Kenneth Gainwell in a 12-team PPR format? Gainwell really doesn't have any value in my mind. I mean, would I rather have Amari or Christian Watson? I'd probably rather have Amari, even though I really do like Watson. I like the idea of trading for him. I just think maybe it's a little bit too rich of a price tag. AK Cash, always happy to see you. My man says, Montgomery, HN, JT, Pierce, Kyron. Which 3 do we start? We're going to go Montgomery, must-start guy with no Gibbs, Kyron, and then HN. Kyron has the guaranteed workload. HN's in an elite level offense with no Jeff Wilson as well. So yeah, let's go Montgomery, HN, and Kyron Williams. JT definitely the long-term play, but this is the range where we don't have to roll the dice this week. Cade says Jameson, AJ, or Javonte at the flex in a 14-team format. Full BBR league, if there's no Amon-Ra St. Brown and Aaron Jones is not ruled out by the time we have to make this decision, we will go ahead and we will take Jameson Williams here, my friend. Now, Jug Glump coming out saying, start 3, full BBR league. We have Wilson, Olave, Ridley, Flowers, and Jameson Williams. Calvin Ridley, still a must-start wide receiver. Chris Olave. Calvin Ridley is going to be someone that we are starting, even if we're not super, super pumped about it. And then between Garrett Wilson, Zay Flowers, and Jameson Williams, I think, honestly, it's probably going to be easily Garrett Wilson at this point. Now, full transparency, I'm not willing to say all of a sudden because Zach Wilson finally looked decent against the Kansas City Chiefs in a game that we are going through. We were saying, oh, Zach Wilson's a fine quarterback. This is a fine situation going forward. Still a very bad situation. Still some of the worst quarterback play in the entire NFL. But with that being said, I mean, you are in a spot that's it's a really good matchup against Denver. Zay Flowers does have Odell and Bateman coming back into his offense. We really haven't seen Jameson. Now, Adele says, would you trade James Cook for Amari? Running backs are Eckler, Kamara, Etienne, Kyron. I completely understand, yes, that we want to trade a running back for a wide receiver upgrade here. But instead of going through and looking to make this kind of deal, you're going to be much better off seeing if we can take James Cook and packaging with like Christian Kirk to go get a much better wide receiver. You're in the position of strength if we have the running back production, and that's what we're selling. Keegan says, full BBR, in need of a running back 2 and flex options are JT, Saquon, Hall, Achane, Kamara, and Watson. We're going to be going with Saquon and Achane if Saquon's good to go. If he's not, we're going to be going with Achane and Kamara if it's a full PPR format. And then if you wanted to go Breece Hall, if you wanted to go JT, they're right there as well. Just whatever you do, don't be playing Christian Watson in this range. All of these running backs are super, super close this week. And if it's a non-PPR format, you definitely cannot play Alvin Kamara. Actually, it is a full BBR, we know. Okay, so if it's a full BBR format, all these guys are close. Just don't play Watson. Okay. Now, Anonymous out again says, I traded Chase for Pollard and Godwin. Interesting deal. And Connor Cook for Gus Kamara. Gus really has no value in my mind. The second deal I don't like as much. I probably would have rather had James Cook and James Conner versus Alvin Kamara. The first one is good. I like the first one. I just don't necessarily like the second one as much. Mike says 12 team PBR 3-1. We have Allen, CMC, Swift, St. Brown, Hollywood, Hawkinson. We got Rashad White, Spears, Hunt, Dotson, Boyd, Atwell, JSN, and Zach Ertz on the bench. Any ideas? It's a great team. There's a reason why we're 3-1. We have the top end talent. We have the long-term upside with guys like JSN. We don't have too much depth. We don't have not enough depth. I think it's a very well-balanced roster. Love the squad, my man. Love it. Now, Sharps coming out says 0-4 after 3 narrow losses. Decided to trade Keenan to get points in the lineup. We got Waddle and Ayuk in exchange for Keenan and Warren. I don't like it. I understand the thought process saying, Mason, Keenan doesn't play this week. I'm 0-4. I can't fall to 0-5. Like, I understand why we are doing this, my friend, but fundamentally at the end of the day, if you are looking at this setup, it's not like you're in a spot where you're going to get fewer games out of Keenan Allen than any of these other players. It's just when the bye week comes. It's different to trade a player at a discount if you're 0-4, if he's going to miss time due to injury, because we're just going to be getting fewer games from him overall, in comparison if we are trading a player due to a bye week. So I understand the thought process, and I would agree with it if the reason Keenan Allen was missing is because he was injured this week and he was going to have a bye week later on in the season. But these guys that we traded for are going to miss presumably the same amount of games that we had, with Keenan missing. Now, Mr. Filthy Wubbs coming out says 12-team PBR, Gibbs out. Are we going to go Jameson, Reynolds, or Khalif Raymond? I will go with Jameson Williams, my friend. We're going to go Jameson Williams with no Amon-Ra St. Brown and no Jahmyr Gibbs. Now, Margo says flex Nico or Puka. We are going to go Puka, and even though I've been wrong about Puka all season, saying to sell, saying to go get Smith, saying to go get Olave. I think especially Cubs first week back, we still probably got to start the guy. Now, Muhammad coming out saying 12-team PBR double flex. We have Watson, Love, JT, Javonte, Dylan, Charbonnet, Moss, Chase, Waddle, Olave, JSN, Say, Palmer, Downs, Michael Wilson, Andrew Schultz. I think I need a running back too. Should we trade Jordan Love for Joe Burrow? I probably would, to be honest with you, based on the reports saying that Burrow is, just getting healthier overall and should be good to go soon. Now, with that being said, still not starting Joe Burrow. I'd rather probably have Jordan Love this week, but in the long term, I think I'd rather have Burrow rest of season based off upside. And then if we are looking at running back, obviously it'd be nice to have a better running back too. The question is, what can we package for an RB2? Nobody's super excited about this wide receiver depth. If you could go out there and possibly send, say, Dalton Schultz and Zach Moss and get any viable running back, even if it's a super boring and just lackluster RB overall, like Miles Sanders, then let's do it. But yeah, I think we would also rather have Burrow. Duran says Puka or Brees rest of season. Try to prove a point, take a vote. Yes, let's take a vote because I don't know. Can everybody please spam the chat? Who would you rather have rest of season? Would you rather have Puka or Brees Hall? Spam the chat. Are you going to be going Puka or Brees Hall, ladies and gentlemen? Puka, 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 Puka. Brees, Puka, Puka, Brees. Puka, Brees, Puka, Brees, Brees. Puka, 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 Puka. It looks like most people are saying Puka here, my man. I don't know what point you were trying to prove. Hopefully that did a good job. Now, Dylan says 10-team at BBR 2-2. Can start 1. Can you rank in order from best to worst? Jaleel Warren, Taji Algier, and Justice Hill. We're going to go Jaleel if no Javonte Williams. And if Javonte does play in app PBR format, then we will go Tyler Algier. Then we will go Jalen Warren, in no interest in Justice Hill and Taji Spears. Davian says Debo for Raheem Mostert. Very fair trade, honestly, up to you. I mean, it depends if you are worried about Jeff Wilson Jr. in the long term. Looks like not too worried about, It's like, obviously, Jeff Wilson Jr. is not doing anything right now. It's more so long-term does that change. Mr. Filthy Wub says, Dynasty 12-team PBR format. Start Zach Wilson or Gabe Davis in the Superflex. We got to go Zach Wilson in the Superflex, my man. Especially in a fine matchup, right? Even if Zach Wilson is no bueno. Okay. Now, our next question coming out from Kevin. And as we get to this, ladies and gentlemen, we are 3 likes away from hitting 900 likes on this live stream. Looks like less than 10% of y'all have hit that like button. So if you have not done so yet, please go down there, drop a like on the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. We have live streamed every single day since April without missing a single day. And we will live stream every single day until 2024. And of course, if you want to check out any of those pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, you're going to be getting a 100% deposit match up to $100 on Underdog Fantasy. Plus, you're going to be getting our updated rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. And if you're new to Underdog, you're also going to be getting a Tua special pick'em this week, more than less than half a total yard. And we got everybody hooked up, regardless of if you are new to Underdog today or you signed up to Underdog 2 years ago with promo code FLOCK. Everybody next week will also have a Justin Herbert special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard, going up against Dallas out of the bye. So super happy that we were able to get y'all that. Now, Kevin coming out says 12-team full BBR 3-1. We have Lamar, Saquon Walker, Diggs, Jacoby, Waller, and the flex Ramondre. And then on the bench, we have Achane, Judy, Quentin, and Hunt. What are your thoughts? I like it. I honestly think that we change the starting lineup now, though. I think we would play Devon Achane over Ramondre Stevenson, even in a full PBR format, now that Jeff Wilson Jr. is not going to be playing and we only have to worry about Raheem Mostert in this backfield. Keji says, hey, Mason, if Waddle doesn't perform this week, can we start DJ over him going forward? Yes, if Waddle does nothing this week, you can start DJ over him going forward. Be hard for me to say otherwise, right? Be hard for me to say otherwise. Matt says, Mason, this is Rich Productions. Hell yes, my man. On a new phone, rate the Dynasty trade. Javonte, Dotson, Higgins, Sanders for Brees, Godwin, and next to your second and third. So let me make you a mod real quick, just on your new phone here, my man. And looking at this, Dynasty, Higgins to Brees, give me Brees. Javonte to Godwin, up to you. Dotson and Sanders for a second and third. Probably Dotson and Sanders. Looks like a very fair deal. Looks like it is up to your overall roster. I mean, I think that Higgins may actually be an intriguing buy low candidates in Dynasty, but so is Brees Hall in Dynasty. Now, Chef says, trade Wilson for Waddle. 100% I would trade Wilson for Waddle. It's a 10-team double flex format. We have CMC, Wilson, Nico, Higgins, Hollywood, Judy, DJ, Deontay, and Wilson. Okay, so you went with the Hero RB build, but we're rostering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wide receivers. So a Hero RB build doesn't mean we take one running back and then we take a bunch of wide receivers at the top of our draft and we keep on taking a ton of wide receivers at the end of your draft. A Hero RB build is you take that elite level RB that we can comfortably rely upon at RB1. Then we get some elite level wide receivers to play alongside him. And then we load up on as many running backs in the bench as we possibly can. That way we can go through and that way we can hopefully eventually hit on an RB2, right? Because ultimately, if you look at these guys that you have way down at the bottom end of your bench at wide receiver with a team that's strong at wide receiver overall, what's the overall upside? But there really is not any. So, yeah, don't be rostering that many wide receivers here, my man. Kyle says trade Puka Saquon for CMC. Oh my gosh, give me CMC. No brainer. Hell yeah, go get CMC if you can do that, my friend. Now, Ben OG says, double quarterback at BBR, which side is better? We have Allen, Amon-Ra, Brees for Dak, Tyreek, and Montgomery. Amon-Ra to Tyreek, upgrade. Brees to Montgomery, upgrade. Allen to Dak, downgrade. Tyreek is the best player on the deal. Actually, no, Allen may be the best. This is a 2-quarterback format. 2-quarterback format makes this a lot more difficult. If it was a 1-quarterback league, I'd go with the Tyreek Hill side. 2-quarterback league, I think you can honestly do whatever you want here. 1 QB, give me the Tyreek side. 2 QB, if you want to hold on to Allen, not going to fault you. Mr. Filthy Wub says London or Jameson. I think you go Jameson for the ceiling, London for the floor, my friend. Julian says trade Higgins, Judy, Sanders, and JSN for Waddle and Brees. Higgins to Waddle, give me Waddle. Judy, Sanders for Brees, give me Brees. We're paying JSN to get it done. Let's make this trade. Also, start to Judy, Wilson, Warren, Moss. Happy BR format, fresh cut. Thank you, my man. We will go with the wide receivers here. We will go with the wide receivers. Brody says James Cook for Justin Fields. We need a quarterback. Very fair price point to go get Justin Fields. Yes, we would take Justin Fields there if you need a QB. Jacob says start Myers or Ridley. If Devontae Adams is ruled out before the Jags game starts, then we plan on going through and we plan on taking Calvin Ridley. But if Devontae Adams is not ruled out, we plan on going Myers. But if Devontae Adams is not ruled out, then we plan on going Ridley. But Gregory says, happy BR, single flex, start 3. We have Kyron, Mixon, James Cook, Mostert, JT, and for who? AJ. We have Hill, Puka, Amari, Zay, Watson, Stevenson. So you're saying who should we trade for? AJ Brown. If we're trading for AJ Brown with this team, I'd be looking to go like Puka and Stevenson or Amari and Stevenson if we can get to AJ Brown there. And then for our starting lineup, we're going to be going with Kyron, James Cook, and Jonathan Taylor. And if you wanted to make a swap, you would go with Mostert instead. Neil says, what's good, boys? Dynasty question for you today. Traded away Henry, Terrace, Marshall for a first, second, and downs. Okay, so honestly, yeah, if you're a rebuilding team, obviously the first round pick would be worth more than a 30-year-old Derrick Henry this offseason. Now, our next question coming out from, I believe, Timmy. And Neil, how are you not a moderator yet? Let me go ahead and make you a mod on the channel. Sorry that you're not already, my friend. Let's get that fixed. Timmy says, 12-team double flex PPR. We have Mahomes, Bijan, JT, Higgins, DJ Kittle, Puka, Judy. On the bench, we have Zeke, McKinnon, Kincaid, Dotson, Reynolds, Mingo. I feel stuck. Yeah, the bench here is not good, my man. The starting lineup, you are rocking. You're in a great spot. I would just say down here on the bench, let's go ahead. Let's drop Jonathan Mingo. Let's see if we can pick up someone that we like maybe a little bit more off the waiver wire. If we can just hit on 1 or 2 waiver wire options and find another Kyron Williams player off the waiver wire, then you are set up in a beautiful spot going forward. You're in a perfect situation if you can do that, my friend. Trailer Park Boys says, HN and Kirk for Saquon. Oh, definitely give me Saquon if Kirk's on your bench. Yeah, no brainer. Conch has 12-team full BBR start 2 flex. 2 flex. I don't know what you're asking. Start 2, flex 1. So start 3 guys, bench 1 guy. Pollard, Barkley, HN, Mostert. We're going to be benching Mostert if Barkley plays. We're going to be benching Barkley we're going to be benching Barkley if Barkley does not play. So yeah, plan A is Barkley over Mostert. A22 says, have BBR, 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, 2 flex, 6-point rushing touchdown, 3-point receiving touchdown. We have Montgomery, Smith, Adams, Chase, Puka, Kamara, Brees, played against Justin Fields. 3-point receiving touchdown? What kind of league is this? I think we want to trade for a better running back, right? In this kind of format, it's half BBR. You only have to start 1 wide receiver. Running back's going to be scoring double the amount of points with touchdowns than receivers. Go take Puka and Package him with Kamara and get the best running back we can. In terms of submitting a starting lineup, we're going to be going with Montgomery at running back. Wide receiver, we'll go Chase without Adams being fully good to go. And then we'll play both Kamara and Brees at the flex spots in a league where running backs are going to get double the points for touchdowns. Okay. Now, our next question coming out from, I believe, Keji says, thanks for the help. Tank Dell or Judy. We're going to go Judy, my man. Actually, no, we go Jameson Williams over him. Be honest with you. Yeah, now that you have Noah Monroe, St. Brown, let's go Jameson here, my man. AJ says, up 49. Hell yes. Start Kittle or Henry. I'm still probably going to go George Kittle, but yeah, I mean, if you're starting DJ Moore, really, we don't even need the George Kittle upside, right? So I'd understand if you want to go Henry in that case. Clutchbox says, would selling of Monra, Etienne, and Godwin be too much to lose to acquire CMC? If it is a 2 wide receiver, 1 flex format, no. If it's like a 14-team league, if it's a 12-team league with multiple flex spots, then maybe you prioritize the depth a little bit more. Now, Colin coming out says, was offered Herbert and Herbert and Kirk for Kyron and Burrow. Burrow to Herbert upgrade, Kyron to Kirk downgrade. My other running backs are Jacob, Swift, and Montgomery. It's an interesting spot, right? Because if you are going to be looking at what we have with Joe Burrow, we're getting the reports coming out saying that he is trending in the right direction and he is healthier. If you believe that to be the case, then you probably want to go ahead and you probably want to take the Joe Burrow, Kyron Williams side, right? Probably do. CE Hype says, just sent Evans and Terry for Olave. What are your thoughts? Great deal. Yeah, give me Olave there. I don't think Terry is someone that we can start based off the usage that we saw on Thursday. Logan coming out with a massive dono. Thank you, my man, says 12-team, 4-point passing touchdown. We have Allen, DK, Watson, Flowers, Garrett, Kyron, Montgomery, Gibbs, Roschon, Charbonnet, Rivers, Ingram at tight end. Any thoughts or any moves? Love the elite quarterback. I would say wide receiver could use an upgrade, but we don't necessarily have the firepower to go through and make a trade to upgrade wide receiver right now. So we really just need to hope that Christian Watson or Zay Flowers has that breakout for us. So I think we sit on our hands and we're going to be looking to start Allen, Watson, Flowers, Montgomery, I guess Rivers this week. Pick up if we can drop Rivers and go pick up like a running back like Jaleel, someone that's going to get touches that we can play, that'd be nice. And then for the flex, Garrett Wilson. The issue is obviously running back 2 is just going to be brutal here. Actually, no, we go Kyron and Montgomery. I'm an idiot. Go Kyron and Montgomery. We said that. And then wide receiver, we're going to go Watson, Flowers, and Garrett Wilson. And we're in a good spot for the long-term upside too, my man. Okay. Now, next is coming out from TJ says, Flock Gang 4-0 and just traded Brees and Pittman for Austin Eckler. Oh, great deal, my man. Team is Love Watson, Eckler, JT. Oh, okay, this is a nutso team. Great team, and we can afford to go out there and get an elite level quarterback. I mean, we have Eckler, JT, Etienne, Ramondre, Rashad White. Rashad White's your RB5. If we can go through, if we can send Ramondre and Love or White and Love to go get a quarterback upgrade, that'd be a no-brainer. Okay. Now, AW says trade Thielen and Javonte for Brees. Yes, go get Brees. Steve says start Williams over Waddle for the flex. No, please play Jalen Waddle over Jameson Williams. Admire My Moon Salt says start HN or JT in a standard 10-team format. If you asked me this question 100 times, I would probably give you 50 answers for Jonathan Taylor and 50 answers for Devon Achane. It is very difficult to know right now. Obviously, so much is up in the air when it comes to the usage that we're going to get with Jonathan Taylor this week. With no Jeff Wilson Jr., I think Achane's maybe the safer play, and JT maybe has a higher ceiling. I'd probably go Achane. I don't know. I'll flip-flop 5 minutes from now if you ask again. Stevan, always happy to see you. My man says, hey, don't have the best options, but Amon-Ra's doubtful, so we started Kirk. Now we need to flex between Tutu, Najee, London, Sutton, and Wilson. This is brutal, my man, and probably the first and only time we will say this week. You probably need to go ahead. You probably need to start Najee Harris. At least Najee out of these guys will be a player that is getting guaranteed volume. He will have some guaranteed touches. So, yeah, I'm not pumped about it, but I think you probably got to go in that direction. Owen says, Tua, Anthony Richardson, Waddle, Brees. What quarterback flex combo? 4-point passing touchdown format. We're going to be going with Tua and Waddle. Richardson and Waddle. 6-point passing touchdown format. We're going to go Tua and Waddle, my friend. Even if Brees looks like he's going to crush this week. I mean, both players look great. Mr. Philly Webb says Dobbs or Addison. I'm going to go Addison in a good matchup. We're going to mix it up. Jose says at BBR, quarter point per reception. 0.13 carry. Don't know what it is, but got you, my man. Got you. We have Jaleel, Warren, Dalvin, Sutton, Just Hill, or Jameson. Also, Dobbs or Jaleel. This is essentially a non-PBR format in the grand scheme of things. It's like a non-PBR league. Point per carry aspect so small too. It doesn't matter that much. We are just chasing touchdown upside and big play potential and looking for yardage totals. So if that's the case, I think we actually may go Jameson in the first question. If Javonte plays and if Javonte misses, you could go Jaleel with the point per carry aspect if you really wanted to. And then the next question, I think we are going to be going ahead and we're going to be taking Romeo Dobbs. If Javonte plays and with the point per carry aspect, if you want to take Jaleel, if Javonte misses, not going to blame you. Mr. Black Barter says Barrios or Khalif Raymond in the flex. Oh my gosh. Probably go Raymond. There's no way that Chase Claypool is active this week. No. I brought it in, says got offered Khalil Herbert, Garrett Wilson for James Cook. Give me James Cook, especially with Herbert banged up. But real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we are 1 like away from hitting 1,000 likes on this live stream. Please go down there, drop a like on this stream. I mean, be our 1,000th like of the live stream. Of course, subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. It's day 162 in a row of live streaming every day, not stopping until 2024. And if you want to check out any of those pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, you're going to be getting a 100% deposit match up to $500 on Underdog Fantasy. Plus, you're going to be getting our updated rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. If you're new to Underdog, you're going to be getting a Tua special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard for tomorrow morning. And on top of that, doesn't matter if you're new to Underdog, old to Underdog, as long as you use promo code FLOCK, we got everybody hooked up, from the people who signed up 2 years ago to the people who signed up today, with a Justin Herbert special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard for next week. That's only going to be for people who use promo code FLOCK, though. Now, Mr. Philly Webb says PBR start 2, Sutton, Addison, Reynolds, and London. Ugh. Probably going to go Sutton and Addison. Most people are going to go Reynolds. Reynolds probably the right call. I don't know. I can never get excited about starting Josh Reynolds, but I have a monkey's brain, so take that with what you will. JC says, double flex. We have Mahomes, Hill, Olave, Ridley, AJ, Pollard, JT, all Gibbs. Do I look to trade for more stability at the running back position? Nope. We're loaded at running back at the top. We have Pollard and JT we can play every week. And then we have the other guys that we're focusing on upside with and not necessarily their floor. Yeah, so, I mean, if you have those guys at the top, I want to focus in on upside, which is exactly what we're doing. So I think we look to keep this room as is. Love to see it, my man. Johnny says, Lawrence, Eckler, Fields, Kamara. What? Lawrence and Eckler or Fields and Kamara? Give me Lawrence and Eckler. Just because Eckler is just an elite level asset. Like, David says, 12-team PBR, 6-point passing touchdown. Thoughts on trading Cousins for Swift, or if I can trade Lamar and Montgomery for Austin Eckler? I would rather trade Cousins for DeAndre Swift than Lamar and Montgomery for Eckler. Love Eckler. The thing is, if you are looking at Montgomery right now, dependent on how long Jahmyr Gibbs misses, David Montgomery may be a locked and loaded top 6 running back, And at the same time, Lamar Jackson is an elite level quarterback in his own right. So I think both deals are interesting if we have these elite level quarterbacks, but I think kind of go either way. Now, Terrence says, PBR, do we go Flowers, Addison Thomas, or Jameson? I'm probably going to go Jameson now that we have no Amon-Ra. Big Mac says, start 2, Puka, Kupp, Hall, and Olave. Really tough spot to be in. If you look at my flex rankings this week, these guys are going to be so damn close. We have Puka at 18, Olave at 17, Kupp at 19. We have them back to back to back. If it's a full PPR format, I definitely think we go with 2 of the wide receivers. Non-PPR league, there would be a little bit more excited to go with the running back. God. Yeah, I think we go with the 3 wide receivers in a full PPR format. I just don't know, my man. Nidal says 10-team PPR double flex. Anthony Richardson, Lawrence, Hill, Olave, Hollywood, Thomas, Pollard, Saquon, Kyron, White, Javonte, Hawkinson. Want to make a move? Any suggestions? I don't think we do anything now. Obviously, it'd be very difficult to make a trade within the next 11 hours or so. But if we have a big performance from Trevor Lawrence in London this week, hopefully it happens. I mean, obviously Lawrence has been bad. Then at that point, it'd be really nice if we could go ahead and see if we could package together, say, Trevor Lawrence and another piece. Like maybe Trevor Lawrence and Hollywood Brown to get a strong wide receiver 3. We're just not going to be able to do that right now. But double flex format, we're not going to be able to really sell wide receiver depth for a onesie position. Clutch Box says start Sutton or Gabe Davis, leaning Gabe Davis. If you want to go Gabe Davis, completely fine with it. Non-PPR, then Gabe Davis is higher ceiling. Probably go Gabe Davis in non-PPR, maybe Sutton in a full PPR. Conchman says 12-team PPR start 2 receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex. We have Pittman, Watson, Hollywood. Running backs are Barkley, Achane, Mostert, or Pollard. Wide receiver, we're going to be going with Pittman and Hollywood. Running back, we're going to go with Pollard, Achane, Barkley. And if Barkley does not play, then we go Mostert over Barkley in the flex spot. Cameron says 10-team PPR double flex. Flex one of these guys. London, Warner, Tank Dell. We will go London. Reynolds or Wan'Dale Robinson. Or if that's a separate question, I'm going to go with Josh Reynolds over Wan'Dale Robinson with no Amon-Ra St. Brown. If those are 2 separate questions. I still probably go London over all of them. Ramsey says, should we start Higbee over Kittle this week? Not with Cooper Kupp back. I think you want to go Kittle. Jose says, at BVR, Tyler Boyd or Jameson Williams. I'm definitely going to go with Jameson here, my man. It would be different if we knew that Burrow was 100%. Terrence says, BBR start Lawrence and Ridley or Stroud and Pickens. I would go Lawrence and Ridley. I mean, I'd rather go like Ridley and Stroud if that was an option. But yeah, you definitely have to go ahead and you have to play Ridley over Pickens, even if he has been disappointing. Now, Matt says, would you trade Algier in a second for Pittman to pair with Anthony Richardson? I'd be completely fine with this. Super flex format, the second round pick would be worth a little bit more, and I'd be a little bit less excited. But yeah, so I think we probably make the move regardless. And it is about 11 p.m., ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be up at like 6 in the morning live streaming tomorrow. So may end up calling the live stream here. But of course, subscribe to the channel. We're giving all the updated injuries news that we have tomorrow morning as well. We're going to live stream every single day until 2024. And also, just to show you some of my favorite pick'ems on Underdog for tomorrow, I'll show you my favorite one is going to be for Christian Watson. And with Watson, I'm expecting him to be a sneaky play here. More than 40.5 receiving yards this week. that's going to be against the Raiders. Now, honestly, wouldn't even mind the Christian Watson 1.5x multiplier for his touchdown. But also, thank you again. Really appreciate you. If you want to check out any of those pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, you're going to be getting a 100% deposit match up to $500, plus our rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. And you'll be getting a Tua special pick'em for tomorrow, more than less than half a total yard. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, we got everybody hooked up, regardless, use promo code FLOCK. Yesterday, today, tomorrow, 2 years ago, as long as you use promo code FLOCK, everybody next week's going to get that Justin Herbert one. Super pumped that we were able to get y'all that. Batman Gaming's to start Higbee or Ertz. We are going to be going Higbee, and drop which one if we drop. We are going to drop Ertz. But thank you again. Really appreciate you, and really hope we get to see you out in the live stream tomorrow morning.